fun.
Arise, minions, and welcome to unMadeGaming, where shit was going on just now.
Yeah.
It was totally appropriate.
Yeah.
Veiny
We're
things.
vascular.
Yeah, if you guys haven't gone over to mostlyfans.com/unmadegaming, you're fucking up. That being said, we are here for another episode of Alien Awakening, where we try to survive Dot's best attempts to kill us. It's a real challenge for Dot to actually kill us.
Just because you're all so fucking likable, clearly.
That's what it is.
I like to think the dice are on our side because the chat could really do their worst and try to kill us, but I'm feeling like there might just be a bunch of chumps out there that's afraid to fill a bar.
Oh, you mean
Let's
like the
not
first episode? Where
forget that all the bars have been used, so anything
right.
that was banked is done.
That's true.
Now they're just 4 innocent souls floating through, 3.5 souls floating through space.
As they say, here am I, sitting in a tin can.
I want to be a real boy, though.
Does this unit have a soul, though?
God damn it. I hate this so much. Guys, if you want to support the channel and stop whatever's happening right now, the Patreon is the best way to do that. We're trying to hit 60 by the end of the month, which is just 2 days away. So we're 5 away. Do the thing. And as always, in the bottom right-hand corner, you will see the corruption bar that everyone is mocking you about. If we hit that bar, it does 2 things. 1, Dot gets to use it to do whatever the hell she wants to us. And 2, every single dollar that goes into that bar goes back to these wonderful faces you see here before you. That being said, Dot, do your worst. Best. Do your worst best.
All right, last time, we met a different crew. Not on a mining colony. Not an adorable kid and his quirky friends. We met a ragtag space team. A 2-man trucker team, in fact. A wily drug-dealing man named Kitchens, who is very comfortable with the fact that he is a synth, that he is a synthetic. He's very comfortable with that fact. And his employer is, I would say, also rather comfortable with that fact as well. But they are on a very specific mission to go make a pickup. Along with this pickup came a ton of information. And 2 suits. Well, 1 in a suit, 1 that works for the suits. A marshal. And what was his name, Mike? He had a horrible name. What was it?
Dash Corin. Mr. Corin.
Dash.
It's a wonderful name.
I want to think you were called out for being the part of a car.
It's a family name.
Well, they are tasked with moving some very important information for Wayland, or items for Wayland-Yutani across space to a space station where they will exchange. They were paid double as per request, or they will be paid double as per request, as long as they get it there safe. There were some bumpy bits along the ride back to the shuttle, but you made it, and you delivered those Marines safe and sound. At least some of them. But once they were back aboard the ship and it had taken flight, it is our great Kitchens. There's multiple of them.
Yes.
Kitchens, who found a strange fungus that was growing out of one of the cargo boxes that you have been tasked to deliver. Upon further inspection, along with our marshal, right? Marshal was there too. Yeah. The marshal ends up witnessing one of these pods releasing this kind of black spore. And kind of like ink through water, it works its way through the atmosphere and straight into Kitchens' nostrils. That's very hard to say.
Kitchens' nostrils.
Nostrils. That was not easy, but I did it.
That's a new username for you guys.
It's new username. So Kitchens, unfortunately,
Or
fortunately, who knows? This is a new kind of high. That's for damn sure. It's a new kind of high, but that's what you're here for.
That's
last
right,
time
folks.
I checked.
We're out here breaking ground, doing new things. Your boy, Cynthia Kitchens, is trying to find what it's like to be a real boy.
Please play a female character in the future called Cynthia Kitchens. Who's not a robot.
Who's not at all. Yeah.
I might.
It's actually Kitchen's wife.
Okay, you're going to make what is known as a sickness roll,
Got it.
which is going to be interesting because here's the thing, as we all very much know, Kitchens is not actually human. So I'm trying to figure out how this is actually going to work. Actually, you know what? You don't have to make any roll at all. And I'm going to tell you why. These spores, as they move through your body, you witness it, Marshall. You see it go through his false veins, mixing and moving. It moves up and through his neck, and maybe you see it as it comes across his face, and you see it's trying to work its way through its body, but it never stops moving. Kitchens, you feel as if something crawls underneath your skin. Whatever this is moving at its own rate. Your body is not pumping this through the blood system. It's like it's searching for something that it can't quite seem to find.
Oh. Yeah. That's not normal. Not normal? Is this what it's like to have to poop?
Did we get a
Pardon
first
me?
word?
What? I'm sorry. Okay, hold on. So, what just happened? There's some. Is that normal for you? Have you seen that happen before?
Desta has oftentimes said that he's got a rumbly in his tumbly, or I might be making that up. I want to picture that as the case, and I'm not sure if that's exactly what's happening right now.
I see.
It doesn't feel normal.
Perhaps we can do some kind of a. I don't know how Yitros work out. So diagnostic or something. Do I hook you into a computer or?
I should probably take a look inside to see what's happening. I don't believe I've never seen an organism move like this before.
I agree.
You
Perhaps we should put you into quarantine or something.
It moves across the back of his eye, down his face again. Like you can see it. It's just like it's like slithering and continuing to move. It, like I said, hasn't found a resting place yet.
Hmm.
But you
Yes,
know what? We
let's
just
go.
got a corruption bar. I lie. It does find a resting place. But you
Nice.
can still go.
All right. Well, does it hurt? Is there like pain?
Oh no, I don't feel pain. I feel unfortunate most of the time, but no pain.
All right. Well, there are worse things, I guess. All right, let's go. To somewhere that's
Yeah. Let's go to my lab.
Okay. I'm gonna make sure everything's locked up real quick.
What does your lab look like?
Clean.
Oh, really?
Clean. It is clean, yes.
Okay.
Have any outward contaminants messing up the product? Just saying.
Okay. Yeah, I hear you. It's spick and span. What are you planning on doing?
Well, Rin is just kind of she's made sure that the cargo bay right now is locked off and wants to kind of like rally him away because she's seen some shit. She doesn't know anything about any of this stuff, but she's like, that doesn't seem good.
Quarantine might be a good idea.
Yeah.
Is there something that I can do while we're like she's trying to push me into a quarantine situation where I can potentially segregate off or sequester this moving substance in my body?
Interesting.
Can I like do an internal quarantine of sorts, like move it down like the length of my
I was
arm?
about to say, I don't know how much control you have. How about this? I'll let you make a medical aid check to start to see if you can figure out what the hell's going on.
Okay.
And then we'll see maybe what you want to do from there. Because it may give you information as to where it has stopped.
Sure. Kitchens doesn't have a metabolism, so this is interesting.
Yeah, exactly. It
Anyhow.
can't yeah. Okay.
Got a success.
A success. All right. I imagine the marshal is like ushering you forward, trying to get you out of here and maybe into, like you said, or like a quarantine or into his lab. You feel it stop near the back of your head, kind of like where we would have an atlas and axis that holds the skull into the spine. It stops as if it's the only holding place for it. It quits moving. It's like it's waiting. You can feel it undulating there inside of your skull. It's about the size of a golf ball in terms of the mass of it. What's interesting to you as a man of drugs, yours are mostly synthetic drugs, but you know that there are lots and lots of natural drugs that spur up all over space. Mushrooms and spores of all kinds can be used for hallucinogenic purposes, for treating stress and anxiety. Yeah. So maybe you know a little something about fungi. And so this comes off to you as grows like a fungus. It released its spores like a fungus, but it moves like it is its own sentient organic, like, bacteria or
Okay.
virus. Does that make sense? It has more sentience than the average virus. It just spreads naturally. This is it has purpose. Like you said, it was searching for something, and now it's just in a holding space in the back of your skull.
All right. Um, if it's in the rear side of my skull, what? That's bizarre. Knowing that I'm a synth, I'm trying to think of what kind of options I might have. I'm curious, what is Marshall doing right at this point? What does this look like from
Uh,
your end?
making sure you're quarantined.
Keep going.
Yeah, she's kind of just like nudging you along, like looking around, making sure nobody's coming by, kind of thing. And internally, she's going, son of a bitch, son of a bitch, son of a bitch, because she has no idea. She's not a scientist. She normally in these situations, if she was out in the field and she thought somebody was infected or a danger, she'd just shoot him in the head. But you're a droid, and that really wouldn't help very much. So, and it could
Um,
release everything into the ship, and there's like a whole bunch of stuff. She's like, I don't know what to do here. I can't really, I mean, I could space him, is what she's thinking in her head, but
oh boy. Oh boy. Okay.
Well, that just took a very dark
I'm just
turn.
being honest about the
Um,
character. Okay.
I love that you're probably walking in silence, and
Yes.
Marshall, you
Oh,
see
yes.
it. Do you have long hair, Kitchens, or is it like kind of short? Like,
I
would you
imagine
see the
it's
back of
it's
your neck?
I imagine it's very similar to like it's efficiency, right? Like the synths are made for efficiency, not style, more often than not. So the fact that I have a beard is probably like my only self-reliant
Okay.
upgrade. But short of that, no, I think you probably would see that.
So you see the dark spot,
Mm.
almost like a bruise to start, and
Mm.
then it begins to swell the way like a lymph node might, or something. Like it begins to kind of bulge a little bit, and it's very dark in coloration. You can see that it's pooled near kind of the bottom of his skull and the top of his neck.
You feeling all right? Just like walking, no issues of
No,
coordination,
no
or nothing,
problems.
like no wobbling.
But I am feeling I'm feeling something. Not really sure what it is yet, but I feel a pressure in some places. What's it looking like? Can you give me the shakedown? What am I seeing?
It
Right.
looks like a child taking its hand and pushing it next to a balloon, an like inflated balloon. It keeps trying to like push its way out of the back of its synthetic skin.
Well, I'd say that it looks like you got a bubble about to burst. And I'm
Ugh.
not trying to burst your bubble. Is what I'm not trying to say that.
You should probably suit up.
Okay, that's probably a good idea. You have a suit around here.
I tell you that like there's a bench where you can get one of
Okay.
the safe
All
like the
right.
hazmat suits.
I will do that.
So if this is what I think it is and it's freely moving of its own, this is more than just a simple fungus. It's free roving and it is looking to stabilize, to potentially sublimate and metastasize. This is
Okay.
my
Can you say
estimation.
that in English, please?
It's looking for a home,
Okay.
something to be a real fun guy with.
Oh, I see what you did there. That's correct. That's clever. That's
I'm
clever.
turning the show around and going home.
All right. Well, can we just like, I mean, since you don't feel pain, can I just like use some kind of thing and take it out of your head?
Potentially. I think,
I mean, I could decapitate you if that hit, if it makes it easier.
not gonna lie, that is not ideal. That is not. I like what I
Okay.
have going on
Okay.
in this space.
I don't know how to do surgery, so I'm just like thinking the most efficient field options here.
I have something. It is a bit more efficient.
Okay.
I never had anyone do this to me, as far as I'm aware of. And I want to find like it's like a syringe of sorts, but it's
Yeah.
for larger scale, and it's got a metal tubing at the end. It's probably like 14 to
Yeah.
10 gauge. I'm gonna need you to gonna need you to suck it out of me.
Okay. Do I need to be careful about this, or can I just be a little, rough about it?
Depending if you come from the side should be fine as long as you
Side.
think you can pierce to the depth or the center of the sublimation point.
Okay. Okay. Stop. English. What point?
I point to the side of the neck.
Uh-huh.
Try not to go more than 3 inches.
3 inches. Okay. Okay.
I'll stand.
Got a better bullet case and got it. Okay.
I'll
Okay.
stand very still.
You have to make a medical aid check, but you're gonna get a +1 thanks to Kitchen standing still and giving you some light instruction, Marshall.
All right. A +1.
Can I guide it in?
I really want this to be like a full-on Pulp Fiction moment where she's like jabs it in the back of your neck. Okay, let's get your medical aid with a +1. Okay. Okay, the good news is that is a success.
Hell
The bad
yeah.
news is 2 successes. The bad news is you also got a panic roll. So first thing I'm gonna do is just really quickly check our basics table here to make sure you don't get anything crazy.
I kind of want to know what sort of stunts she can get from a.
That's what I
multiple
was
success.
just looking at, the stunt for medical aid. So you can recover 1+ health points on somebody. In this case, it's not really relevant.
Mhm.
So instead, what I'll say is this, and then I'm going to have you roll. Actually, you can go ahead and roll panic if you want to, and
Okay.
get that table up too, so we can
8. I feel like I remember this one from the last time.
tremble. Okay.
Yes.
So you stab it gently into his neck and begin to draw out
Yeah.
what looks like this. It's like taking black ink and mixing it with milk. They never quite entirely mix. This
Mhm.
black substance moves as if it's trapped inside a cage. It pushes against the
Okay.
walls of a glass syringe, and the rest of it seems to be the bionic fluids that run through the synth body. I'm gonna say it is Kitchen's, and he's used a lot of drugs in his time, so maybe his is a tinge yellow, or a
Mhm.
little obscure of color. But it's the usual.
Mhm.
Yes, Mike. Tonight, I hope you keep that face. That's goals for tonight is to make Mike stay that way for all 2 hours.
First it was the suck it out, and then the gently stick it in, and then the can I guide it in. I can't.
He's gonna explode. He's
Well,
gonna
with
explode.
with the 2 successes, does that mean I can successfully extract it and get it into
I
this
say that you get
syringe?
all
Yeah.
of it out, and it fills this giant, the whole syringe, and it's contained. I guess you could say for now. Bad news is once you're done, your hand begins to tremble.
Mhm.
You begin to tremble uncontrollably. You've never seen anything like this. Any skill roll using it, and agility suffer a 2. I'm going to say your hand shakes and you go to drop it. One of you can reach to catch it.
If I notice the trembling, then I will try to catch it. I will try.
I mean,
It's
I'm
an,
gonna
it's an
try
agility
to,
roll.
to,
This is
fumble.
terrible.
I'm gonna try to fumble catch it. Obviously, I'm at
Okay.
a negative, but
Yeah, you'll be at a -2, but it's worth it because I think you're probably more agile than our said synth.
Even with
Yeah.
a -2.
can I
yeah.
do modifier with -2? Will that work instead of
I
having
believe so.
Yes,
I
it
think you
does
can just
work.
type in -2 and it'll
Yeah.
just do the roll.
1 success? Oh, sorry, 2
Two
successes.
successes.
Nice.
Okay, you did it. Your hand trembles, and it's more than you ever seen. And maybe the black ooze inside, or whatever this fungus is, smashes against the side of this syringe glass, and it startles you, and you drop it, but you catch it dexterously right before it hits the ground.
Mere millimeters.
Millimeters from the floor. And you now have it successfully in your hand. I imagine that you and Kitchens take a moment to catch your breath. But it seems, other than the small hole that is left in the back of his synthetic skin, that is a little bruised and kind of black around the edges, it seems that you have basically drained this cyst or whatever it was in the back of his neck.
All right. Why don't you go ahead and just take this out of my hand? I don't want it. I don't want to see it.
You.
It was
thank
worse
you.
than handling a bomb. You just take that now. Okay.
Yes. Did you need anything to help you sleep? I imagine you've now officially seen
I
some
don't sleep.
quote shit.
No, I don't sleep.
Oh,
I mean, I sleep. No, I don't sleep. Like there's like nap times in between things, but I don't really sleep much.
well, can I recommend at least a stiff drink?
Yeah, I'll take a stiff drink. That's right.
Yeah, just go up to where the captain sits and does his pretend thing, where he steers. It pilots itself mostly, but
You keep
there
all the
are
booze with the
piloting
captain?
roles. Yes, well, he chooses that. Yes,
Oh, I see. I
Oh,
see. So he likes
I-
to self-medicate too. Then I got
I
you.
I find a clean petri jar of sorts. This will not have residue inside of it, much like many of his. So here, and I
I mean,
pass it off to
shouldn't
you.
the alcohol kill everything anyway?
It's not how that works.
Yes, your liver specifically.
Right. She
Your
didn't
liver
specify what it
specifically.
kills.
Yeah, what it kills, just that it does. And I imagine we have this kind of moment as Kitchens. I'm hoping you do something with the syringe. You like kind of put it away.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Marshall maybe has a very stiff drink to still the quaking of a hand, and we cut to our captain. Captain, it's gotten real quiet on board your ship. It's never quiet when Kitchens is around.
That must mean that Kitchens isn't around.
Possibly. And Dash, you are where doing what?
Just hiding to ride this one out,
Great.
Dot.
That's fine. You're in your room. That's fine. You're in your bunk. The camera stays on the captain then.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I double check that we're on the right course
Mhm.
and how long it will take us to get there.
So you're gonna have one major stop where you're gonna have to like fuel up, and then you'll get to a
Okay.
second point where to make the trip as fast as possible, you'll all hop into cryo, and then or unless Kitchens doesn't want to, and faster than like travel.
Got it.
To
So we're kind of like
yeah.
manually driving until we get to the refuel point, and then once we've
Yep.
refueled enough, we're just going to instantly cryo the west of the
Basically.
way.
the west of the way.
The west of the way.
Yes, that is it in a nutshell. So that's kind of the idea.
Okay.
At least that's what you know at this point. You are probably 13 or 14 hours out of just like solid empty space travel before you arrive at your first destination, which is
Beautiful.
pretty automatic from there. Like you basically pull in, it's like any trucker stop. You pull in, they
Mhm.
refuel you, and they send you out the other side. You'll hop in and you'd go straight into cryo.
Okay. And do I have the ability to basically autopilot my ship like
Yeah,
Kitchens was
I would
saying?
say, yeah, it's empty space. Yeah, you should be able to put it on autopilot at least for a while.
Okay. After some time has passed and I notice that no one is around and I can't hear Kitchens anywhere, I leave the ship on autopilot and then I go and search for probably Dash Corin. Also, did we lose Dot or did I lose Dot? I don't know.
I think we might have.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, we just lost Dot.
Yeah, her power just
So
went out.
Oh no.
We win. That's how
Let's
you
see.
We
win
win the
aliens.
game.
Everybody
Yay,
love.
victory.
I'll ask her
Yay.
if we're just playing among each other. We might be able to still just continue.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I'll just tell her that.
And keep it from being.
Or
there.
actually, oh, she's coming right back in. Maybe.
Oh, sweet. She's probably dialing in with her phone. Is my guess.
But by all means, go on. You're looking for me.
Oh, yep, she did.
Oh,
She
yeah,
dialed in with her
she did.
phone. Muted. You muted, girl.
You're muted
That
for
is
now.
the candid camera,
That's
y'all.
Perfect.
We're just role playing with each other anyway. So
Do we need to
were
redo
gonna
our
keep
cameras
going.
for you there?
Nope, we're good.
Okay.
Sorry, gang. I'm half the power's out, half of it's not. So I'm just like waiting for it to stabilize, and then I'll boot back up.
Cool.
Perfect.
Keep talking. I'm gonna mute myself.
So Desta stands up, grabs a beer, and as he starts walking away on the metal plating of his ship, he turns back around, looks at his pilot seat, sighs, goes and grabs a second beer, and then walks to his room, and just for good measure, grabs an item that I have, a stun baton, just in case, and picks it up and kind of stows it very openly on his hip, attached to his belt. And then he just quietly starts looking around the ship and is specifically, he'll stop if he sees anyone, but he's specifically searching for this Wayland Yutani agent, Dash Corin.
Why? What What have I
Why
done
not?
to you?
What haven't you done?
Wow, rude. What hasn't Waylon Yutani done for you is the big question. He is in wherever the crew quarters are. He would have found them just
Okay.
wandering around the ship because there was no introduction or showing of where we are for him. So he would have just wandered aimlessly around your ship until he found what looked like an unoccupied sleeping room, and that is where you find him.
What are you doing when you're in the room?
How are you approaching the room?
If have you closed the door or is it open?
I think the door will be open.
Okay. I approach, I poke my head in, and I say, "Ah, there you are, my
Oh.
friends."
Oh, you see him
Where are the
close.
others?
You see him close like a big metal briefcase, and he like click. You hear the two locks clasped. Yeah. No, what? Good afternoon, Captain. Is there anything I can do for you?
Have you seen the other two on our ship?
No, I haven't. Are they dead?
I certainly hope not.
Oh,
My friend, would you like a beer? I hold out a drink.
are you drinking on the job, Captain?
This is my ship, my rules.
I mean, you're the only pilot we have. You can't be just. I know it's space, and the odds of crashing into things are astronomical, but it still doesn't seem safe to be inebriated while driving, especially working for Wayland Yutani.
I know how to handle myself.
Well, with all due respect, Captain, this is going in my report.
Fine. Do you want a beer?
No, thank you. I'm fine. I don't drink. Anything that dulls the mind is bad for Wayland Yutani.
I'm curious.
Yes.
What was your name again?
Dash, Corin.
I'm curious, Mr. Corin. And I step into the room and take a seat. Why? Is there anything that you are excited about Wayland Yutani? Are you trying to rise in the ranks or something of that sort?
Well, I mean, it is a corporation, so yes.
Did
That's
you
kind
choose this line of work, or did it choose you?
I was born into it.
You were born into it.
It's a family thing.
Ah, are your parents still around?
No. At least I don't think so.
Interesting.
You don't get a lot of free time when you're out here, hopping around the verse.
Is that what it's called?
I don't know. I don't know. I heard someone say that.
Dash is so hip.
That's true.
No, it isn't.
He sure tries to be.
Do you have you developed any other talents, Mr. Corin?
Like what?
Any other talents? You saw what myself and the marshal did when we were riding away.
Yes, that was a great skill. No, I'm not trained in combatives. That sounds.
And
That
you
is-
saw what Kitchens did with the alchemical supplies.
Yes, I did see that. He made a bomb.
So, other than keeping records, what do you do, Mr. Corin?
Do I need to do more?
Do you think you need to do more?
No, I think I'm doing pretty good.
Are you inspired by money?
I mean, to a degree. Money gets you where you gotta go, right?
And you have to go where Wayland Yutani tells you to go.
You're learning, Captain.
I see.
Yeah. People say money makes the world go round, but really,
Wayland Yutani. keeps
there
going.
it is.
Yes.
There it is. See?
I think
It's a
I
company man in
understand.
you yet.
Oh no, I've been there, done that.
Well,
I stand up.
you're always welcome
I-
back.
Perhaps. We'll see how this job goes. Oh, yes.
oh,
By
yeah.
the way, I forgot.
Yes.
There's no chance that you're going to tell me about the cargo that we are carrying.
No.
Do you know what it is?
As far as you're concerned, no.
Interesting.
Yes.
Well, we will travel very far on this ship,
Great.
and we'll see if how far I'm concerned changes. And I turn and walk, searching for the other two.
I don't. Let's go get my report.
Ren is
I was gonna say
walking
it's
around.
not a very big vessel. You find them very quickly.
I'd say probably because Rin, you just mentioned that you were walking. You see that I'm walking the hall, heading towards you, probably, and I'm like, yes, someone who would appreciate this finally. And I hold out the beer.
Oh, well, thank you so much. That hospitality. Don't have a lot of that around here.
I can tell. What have you been sitting around just like the other one?
Oh, no, actually, I've been quite active. I was watching the cargo for a bit there, and then there was an incident that,
What happened?
well, there was like this. You know what? Why don't we go and talk to Kitchens? It'll be a lot easier because, long story short, he has some kind of like weird science talk thing that he does. And to be perfectly honest, all I know is it looked like his head was about to explode, and I took the thing out and then I gave it to him. So,
I see.
yeah, it's something from the cargo. I'm not going to be, lying to you. We're in the shitter right now, like completely.
What?
Yeah.
All right. Where is Kitchens?
He was in his room, lab, I guess.
All right, fine. Let's go.
Yep. Yep.
And
So,
we head to Kitchens to find you doing what?
Kitchens is likely in a situation where he has festooned this in a much more solid tube, something that's not going to shatter, and he is privately reviewing files now that he has found some privacy.
mhm.
Doesn't think anybody's going to be visiting him, which now this is a probably mild surprise, and he has a USB insert into his arm where he's viewing footage internally.
Oh,
Yes. Footage that was passed off to him by a very specific synth by the name of Bishop.
yes.
Yeah, can you hear me? Is my mic
Yes.
coming through?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Perfect. Awesome sauce. Okay, great. Sorry, gang. Tropical
You're good.
storms.
Welcome back.
South. It's great. So okay, you begin processing through the information. So he gave you footage of what went down at Fury 161. Well, as you I imagine play through it rather quickly, you see some strange events. The usual security footage of the prisoners about daily, and then something happens. They all go rushing. Then a days or a few hours worth of footage where there's a woman on board. They have to shave her head, of course, because anybody that stays for extended periods of time on the planet knows there's a big.
We lost you, at least your audio.
Say that again.
There's a big
No,
nothing.
we can't hear you anymore. Wayland Yutani has just censored you.
The ultimate security protocol.
That's the real reason why Dash is here.
Furry Murmurs thinks it's lice.
Yeah,
Okay.
whenever he hears anybody saying anything, he's just like censored.
That's the only item he has. It's actually like
Yeah.
it just denoises the room.
Yep.
It's like,
It's like being in space. You
Yeah.
can't
All
hear
right,
anybody.
now can you hear me?
yeah, you're good.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, all those programs are booting up in the background and everything's trying to take over my mic and camera at the same time. Okay,
Oh,
so
Wayland Yutani.
Wayland Yutani, yeah. You see the woman and you see them, like, you see footage of them shaving her head,
Mhm.
so forth and so on. And then something happens. There's almost like a dynamic shift in everybody's attention as you see the prisoners begin to do non-daily duties, fixing up weaponry, setting these odd traps. And then you see it, a creature, unlike one you've ever seen before. It is dark and it walks on all fours. It has kind of these gangly, double jointed legs. You watch it come out of the ceiling and attack one of the prisoners, pull basically him up and out and away. The camera cuts again, and you just kind of thumb through this footage, and you see this creature a few times. Every time it stalks, hunts, and take somebody. After a while of maybe fast forwarding through it, you watch as the woman with the shaved head dives backwards into the vat of molten metal at the end, as on the kind of platform overlooking it stands Bishop. Wayland Yutani officers who have come in with large, like fire guns, like flamethrowers, and a few other suits that are there. And you can see there's like an interaction. She walks out on the edge and dives. They take out one man, one prisoner, and that footage ends.
How many times did I see the creature in question?
Maybe 5 or 6 times.
Did I see like a preferred hunting method? Did it look like it was attempting to kill them?
It
Or-
did not look like it was attempting to kill them. In
Oh,
fact,
okay.
the 3 bodies that there are 3 men that you witnessed it take are the same 3 bodies that you're currently carrying.
That's an eye-opening bit of information. I'm guessing that there were still reported deaths. We did see bodies that were incinerated.
Yes, and they told, yes, there were a lot of, I would say that you got to witness the footage as Wayland Yutani comes in and torches the place. These men did not torch this place. Wayland Yutani did. Any man that was injured or almost dead, they torched with it.
Okay. Now I am starting to piece together a few things. Would I overhear them entering into the lab, or what? How does that work with me like seeing file and like footage in my head?
I would say you probably, it's where your mind is at, right? So you're not really, one sense is being used where another's not, is kind of how I guess I imagine it. But you might hear them, right? Like you would
Okay.
hear them enter the lab if they enter from behind you. But all of you would see, I imagine you just kind of standing there with he's like jacked into his arm.
Okay.
Got a strange fellow right there.
If I
Oh,
overhear you entering, I probably like do like the one moment thing, where it's just like I'm focused on the wall for some reason, and I'm just like, give me just a second.
Take
And
your
I
time.
I hold the both of us back, and I'm like, oh, he's done this before. It's
What, looking at walls?
he's mixing things.
Mixing things.
Marshall.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Marshall, you're a marshal. And you know that that is not standard issue.
The
That
arm thing?
synths don't come with that,
Yeah.
which is super duper illegal.
Yeah.
Super duper illegal.
How did you meet Kitchens exactly? How did you guys come to be partners here?
One of the stops that I made, one of the many jobs I did, I was asked to pick him up and take him off of their hands.
Asked by who?
It's private information.
Private information, I see. Okay. Well, in that case, I suppose it should be private between you and I, that's not, an unmodified unit.
Are you
Not
concerned?
a big secret. Not a big secret. I'm still out here serving community service.
Uh-huh.
Are you still facing the wall?
Yes.
Okay.
All I'm saying is Mr. Corn is a little we'll just say
Oh.
by the book.
I know.
Right.
I know
So we can
very
keep
much.
it between us, but I might need your help with something later.
Perfect. Are you almost done over there?
Yeah, Desta. Well, things aren't looking good.
Are
like
or
unplugged.
are not?
Not looking great, particularly
mean?
for the part of the ship where there are organisms on board and you are forced to breathe through your mouth.
Okay, so you got a little glimpse into what we're facing then.
What?
Yes.
Can you spell out to me what exactly is happening on my ship?
Do you want
We
to
got xenomorphs.
short form?
Xenomorphs. I know that word. Okay.
I don't.
There
I
is a
turn to the
biological
door.
unit.
to the lab and I close the door, and I would like to not lock it, but I just close it.
Beep boop.
Continue.
There is a biological unit on the board.
Actually, there's more than one.
As I gathered, 3 men were removed from Fury, insert numbers,
So don't
exponential
be worried
planet out
about
there.
the ones that are dead. Think about the ones that are still alive, and they're on ice.
What? We are carrying living people?
No, not people. Oh
Oh.
no, sir.
More than just people.
I blasted somebody's face clean off because it was like right there, and it was just the whole thing. It
Based
was a
on what I've
not pretty
encountered.
sight.
Did we, Story Mother, did we see that? I forget. Did we
No.
see?
No, you guys
Yeah,
did not.
I don't think so.
That was
Okay.
before our arrival.
Yeah.
Based on the information that I've gathered and what I can speculate up to this point, Desta, Mazel Tov, they're pregnant.
I'm sorry, what? Who's pregnant?
I'm going to guess it's probably the 3 that are on ice. The ones that are stuck in hypersleep at the moment.
Okay, how did you draw that conclusion?
Well, one of those cases downstairs were broken. You remember the thing that I inhaled or seemingly diffused
Yeah,
into
the
my
weird
sensors?
black goo, yeah.
Well, it moved through me,
Right?
and you said it was trying to pierce through like a balloon, yes?
Well, it looked like it was gonna pop, yeah.
What was the disease that they said that this was? Cholera or
Cholera.
something.
Yeah, that's not what cholera looks like.
It's not
So
cholera.
we are carrying some sort of life form from that planet.
Yeah, I guess so.
Not just one, multiple. In fact, I
yeah,
believe it's
but-
in multiple forms.
Is it
Okay,
dangerous?
hold
This-
on.
Right
Maybe
here,
it
like
starts off
two.
like a little baby goo and then makes itself into another. Never mind.
I'm afraid it might be a little different than that.
Okay, listen. I'm gonna let you do the science things. I'm here to protect you, okay, and protect the cargo simultaneously while protecting my life because I'm done after this. My payday's coming, and I'm retiring. I'm done. I'm going off on my own planet, away from all you crazy people. That's what I'm
Good
doing.
luck with that.
Yeah.
Then it's probably safe to let you know now that there's a high chance your survival is dropping by the minute.
How do
yeah,
we stop
you know what?
this?
I don't agree with you because I survived lots
Oh,
of
that's
shit.
fine. You don't have to agree with me.
Okay.
You don't have to
You're-
agree with facts. Facts don't care about what you think.
This is not a fact. This is your opinion. Do you know the difference?
I'm not technically allowed to have opinions.
Oh, I
I'm
see.
not real.
Well, that is
Kitsch.
what's the word? Subjective.
What do we do?
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
Kitsch,
What do we do?
what do we do?
Well, if I were similarly a mouth breather, I would find the immediate and fastest way to set them ablaze, kick them out into space, and watch them crumble over time.
Oh, we can't do that.
I thought you might say that. You'll
No, we
probably be
really
the first to
can't.
die.
No, sorry to say, but if anything, we'll make sure we keep the cargo bay clear. And sorry about that.
What was that?
Sorry. I hope you didn't need
Oh,
that.
sorry.
Dash peers up over the window.
I heard you guys talking shit.
Okay, listen. You can say whatever you want. That's fine. Like I said, this is what I do. I survive. I make sure things survive. So that's what I'm gonna do.
I've seen enough historical documents from the likes of Spielberg to know that you will not last long.
Is there another drink in here somewhere? Please.
Many.
Okay. I'll take
Maybe
whatever
point.
is not lethal.
Kitsch,
I
Kitchens.
should go ahead.
Oh yeah, yo, you first. You have a question. You first.
What I would recommend, based off of my simple analysis and from what I found, that planet that we just left, all of those men that were incinerated, they weren't incinerated because they were healthy, and it wasn't cholera. There is a figure, as Ren has stated, a xenomorphic entity. It was hunting them, but not for the premise of devouring, as it would have eaten them. It would have left something behind. 3 men were evacuated from that planet. Those same 3 men are on board this. They're prisoners, and they seem to be holding a contagion or something much worse. From my understanding, based off of what just exited my body, something that is seeking a host. We are naturally
where is that
well,
thing right now?
metal tubed. It's safe right here, and holds up what looks to be a container.
Okay. So we just do that with the rest of them or what? I mean,
Is
In a perfect world, we will have no hiccups, no bumps,
There
nothing
ain't no such thing as perfect.
that could remotely question what we have in contents of our cargo.
Well, let me tell you, if we try to get rid of the cargo, you're going to have to get rid of Mr. Corin. And while I would be more than happy to oblige, we can't really do that because that means no payday.
she is
Then
right?
we should have everyone on board above cargo. We should lock it down, airtight. Make sure nothing is in the trajectory of our vessel and move forward carefully, Desta. Because if one of those containers burst under any capacity, everyone that requires air to survive will die.
I have a few questions. So the first one is this you mention a contagion, and then you also mention a creature. Is the creature related to the one that the sandworms that we fought?
No, this was much sleeker, a quadrupedal, large domed, almost insectoid like creature.
How do you know this?
I was passed along information from Wayland Yutani. I have proof in my head now.
And where did that creature go? Are we carrying the creature too?
I
No,
don't think so.
I believe that is not the case. I believe that the creature was destroyed, as was a woman. She fell into what appeared to be a vat of molten metal.
Oh, and she took the creature with her. The creature was smashed, and then she dove in.
And if I am capable of putting one and one together, two means that that large mixing bowl that we saw back on the previous planet that they were scraping was probably that same one.
Yes.
Okay. Let me just make it very clear that whatever you're describing is not what I blew up earlier today, yesterday, whatever day of the week it is. I don't know. It's totally different. The other one likes to face. It's it's like a mask that you don't want to have on because it just
What is the span of which time is covered in the footage that I watched?
Like 2 days max.
2 days.
Yeah. It took out the majority. Now they made some mistakes and they took some of themselves out, but it took out the majority of this colony of 26 people in 2 days. Or actually less than that, really.
And before that, there were no issues regarding their survival. Is just like stationary numbers, very static. There were no like outside of like inclement issues with the inmates. There was nothing at least reported in the documents, right?
Not that you know of. There is I would guess you have more than video footage because you have all the security. So you would even have like whoever the head chief was or the head security guy here on this prison planet like had notes of when they rescued the vessel that fell from the sky, that there were two dead humans, a young girl, a man, and a synth on board. The synth made it, but only for a short period of time. It was could not be fixed, basically. And then this woman, yeah.
Additional question: was there footage of any quadrupedal creatures previously? Was there, i.e., in film, was there a dog?
One of the prisoners has a dog, and you did see the dead dog. Remember, its corpse was left as part of the crime scene.
We did see that. Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
So based on
the
that,
dead dog.
and seeing the way that the xenomorph moved, Desda, from my immediate guess, not entirely opinion, as this is not my field of expertise, it moved quadrupedally. It reached maturity from birth after a minimum of 2 days. Nobody
Impressive.
survived her arrival after 2 days.
Correct. This creature seems to have been beckoned by her arrival and that falling vessel from space. And his notes, the security notes that he wrote, say as much. That she believed that something was on board with her. And his notes they don't believe her, basically. He thinks that she's crazy, that it's space sickness, that she's been in hypersleep for too long. And they were simply waiting on somebody to come pick her up. Wayland Yutani had very high interest in picking this woman up. They were coming to pick her up personally, basically. And did not make it before all of the events went down.
For what it's worth, I wish to share this information with you, but I, as a synth, am only capable of accessing it mentally. If I were to hook into a mainframe, you would need someone from Wayland Yutani to pass code. They are password locked, but all Wayland Yutani employees, if they are higher enough up, is given a simple passcode to access this, and it would become public information.
Would you say that Mr. Core might be high up enough to
Oh, I would
have
think so.
access?
I would think so, yes, but I would also guess that he would not want this information getting to a public forum.
Well,
I
what if
don't
you don't
even
know
know
about it?
if he should know about it himself.
Well,
But
I'm saying maybe he don't need to know about none of it. We just get
that's
the
what I'm saying
password.
too. But I have another question that has yet to be answered.
Okay.
You mentioned something about closing down the ship, quarantining the cargo hold.
You, like cordoning that off, yeah.
Why did one of the crates burst open? What?
One of the
No,
crates,
but safety precautions, you know.
yes, for that, but one of the crates did have a substance, which is what came from this. It seemed to be
Which
from
we
a cracked
handled.
corner, as far as I can tell. I managed to
Hey,
scrape some of this off
okay.
to investigate further, but alas, here we are. I felt it was necessary for me to understand the subject and the reason that we are transporting bodies across the galaxy.
Hmm.
I mean, the reason doesn't really matter too much specifically, right? In the
I
grand
see.
scheme of things, I mean, people do things for really dumb reasons,
Hmm.
right?
I will be back. Do not let Mr. Corin know about any of this.
He's not my best friend. Don't
I
worry.
turn to leave. Also, Game Mother, you may have mentioned in our first session with these characters that
Uh-huh.
there was that novel that some guy had written called Space Beast or something like that, and that
Yes, I
I was sent a
did.
copy. Is that
I
true?
would say that you could, as a space trucker, get your hands on a copy. It's kind of considered blacklist reading. Like, it's
Yeah.
hard, but you know the right guys over CB to call to get it.
Okay. Or I've at least heard of the book.
For sure.
Okay.
Only those that live on the outskirts of society would know about it, but it is heavily talked about amongst, like,
Okay.
the kind of people you hang out with.
Yeah. Would I be able to like airlock and lock the cargo hold from the pilot's seat, or would I have to go to the cargo hold to do that?
No, you could lock it. I would think you have full control from the
Okay.
pilot seat, from the cockpit.
I go to the cockpit and I lock the cargo hold. Air anything I can do to
I
seal
would
that.
think everybody then hears the cargo bay doors, not the ones that they locked, the double like come down, which is like a second set. It's really for like if there's an air leak in cargo, you can close the vessel off, airtight it, and you seal it off.
Okay. And then while I'm still at the cockpit, I'm going to try to, however I can, request that Space Beast book or try to download it or anything.
Okay. You go to comms, your vessel's comms. You're gonna need to make a roll for this.
Okay.
How about this? I will give you command or manipulation. And then you've got to
Okay.
tell me what you say to the guy on the other side. You know that there's there's a guy. There's a guy. He calls himself Shakespeare. He's the man that has access to everything. And old Shakespeare is like I said, he works under the radar, but he can get pretty much anything as long as it's digital. And you're gonna reach out on what is basically Trucker Space CB to see if Shakespeare will answer you back.
I was about to say MySpace. Like
Yeah,
MySpace is so
basically.
fun.
Yeah.
It's perfect. All right. I message Shakespeare and I'm like, hey, Shag, are you there? Do you have a moment?
There's a bit of a pause, and you think, well, he must not be picking up today. He's not always a social fellow. But you hear the static kind of come over, and he fumbles, and he goes, sorry, man. You can hear a woman laughing in the background, and you hear a fly zip up, and he finally turns his like image on, and he comes on, he's shirtless, and he kind of leans in, and he's got a pair of like very round glasses, and he goes, what do you want, man? I'm getting laid.
I won't waste too much of your time. That book
the Space Beast book. Have you read it before?
I read it. It's a
Is
bunch of
it
mumbo jumbo, crazy ass bullshit, if you ask me.
But if it wasn't, does it have a good account of what happened? Is it a good story?
If by good account you mean a crazy man talked about some. He sees. Now you see two chicks behind him. He leans in and goes, aliens in space, man. Then yeah, it talks all about that. But you know, I don't give information away without a price.
All right. If you can send me a copy, I will give you 5,000
Right now?
right now.
Hey, ladies! Open the champagne! All right, fine. It's headed your way. I want the creds first.
I send him 5,000.
He, you hear him, and he, you can see there's monitors everywhere behind him. And he goes, all right, man. It's on its way. And you hear him, hit a hard, button. And bloop, you get, a file delivery pretty quickly. And he goes, it's nice doing business with you.
Have fun.
I leave.
And he gives you finger guns, and he clicks his camera off. You see him, swipe and turn the cam off. And, that's
This
all you
guy.
get of old Shakespeare.
Finger guns. I hate him
Yes.
so much.
He's the skeeziest space weasel I think that you could probably come across. He deserves to be in a Guy Ritchie film. At the, you know who he is? Anybody Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels fan?
Yeah.
He's the guy that runs the big marijuana ring.
Oh,
The kind of
course.
weird
Absolutely.
guy with the glasses, and he's always yelling at everybody, but he's a little spaced out. Yeah, that's him. That's so totally him. Anyways, the file, it's there. You can see it. It says Space Beast.
All right. I will kind of, and this is a file. Do I have any tablet on the ship that I could
Oh yeah, I'm sure there's some kind of way that you can either send it direct to your quarters to whatever maybe stations
Yeah,
in
I
there,
do
or
that.
you could pull it on it. Yeah, and maybe we see you walk into your quarters and you pull it up, and we see you start thumbing through it. This black screen, green lettering. It's some of it's in Coda. They've tried to redact some of it. Some of it does feel like the ramblings of a madman. It's like reading On the Road. You're please get to the point. But you pick up on a few things. He talks about the woman. Her name is Ripley. How she fell from the sky. How she brought with her a great space beast. It was living in her belly. And a second space beast. A second space beast burst from a dog and began stalking and hunting them. They didn't believe her at first, and by the end, they did everything that they could because there were no weapons on this prison planet. It was a peaceful prison planet. There were no weapons. They did what they could and use, basically it's nitroglycerin. It's the space version. It's got some giant ass name that I can't say, to try to fend it off since it was susceptible to fire.
Okay.
Some things went appropriately, some things didn't. And then it talks about Bishop and Bishop's arrival and how they wanted what she had. They wanted what she
Who
had.
wanted what? Who? had?
Wayland Yutani wanted what she had in her belly, and she
Ew.
wouldn't give it to them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
And so she took her own life by jumping in the vat. I think Kitchens told you that she died, or that
Yeah.
she died or jumped in.
Reading this story, this is Kitchens just described to me episode 2 of a 2-episode movie, and now I'm just reading episode
Yeah,
1.
you're kind of reading it, but you're reading it in a first person account, right? And like I
Yeah.
said, some of it's crazy garble, where he talks about how big it was, how its blood is made of acid, how it has a secondary digit that protrudes from its mouth, that'll put a hole through a man's skull in a single second. how it's jet black and it makes no noise as it moves, that it can hunt you in the dark.
Great.
It's like reading a crazy man's horror movie.
I sit there for a while and then close the page on my tablet, and I would like to start making my way back to Kitchens' lab.
I would say about 45 minutes has passed. What has Dash been up to? Are you really just like feet up kicking it?
I mean, kind of, yeah. Like, this is a very simple mission, as long as no one fucks up. And as long as the captain does his job, which is to captain, and Kitchens goes away. And you know, the gun happy, you know,
Well, then I would say,
wannabe space marine doesn't pull out a gun on anybody. It will be fine.
I would say then that you are daftly interrupted.
Oh, that's
from your
inconvenient.
quiet time where your feet are up. We see your socks. Maybe, do you even take your shoes off? Probably.
No.
You're such an asshole.
You never know when you have to do some business.
Yeah, so keep your shoes on. You hear the sound of dense metal on metal. The cargo bay door has been slammed shut.
I mean, that does seem like the safest way to keep everyone from touching it. And Marshall Blackburn isn't as dumb as she sounds. So,
Wow.
it makes sense that she might close the airlock to keep anyone else from causing a ruckus. That seems appropriate. Can he see the airlock area from his room, like a head peek?
No, but you would have a comm system in your room.
In that case, I think he just hits the button and he just says, Marshall, are we good?
Of course, Mr. Corin. What can I do for you?
No, I just heard the airlock and I was just checking to make sure everything's you know, tip-top shape.
Wow, you have some kind of hearing.
It was very loud.
Was it though?
Yeah, it was.
You got so much going on in your head. I'm surprised you can hear anything outside your thoughts.
I could understand how that could be difficult for someone who has nothing going on in theirs, but I was just checking. As long as everything
I see.
is fine and
I
no one
appreciate you reaching out.
is meddling with the cargo.
Why would anybody be meddling with some cargo?
I don't know. They hired you for a reason, right?
Yeah, many reasons actually. Not
Mostly
just the one.
to stop the meddling in cargo.
Oh, you are such a simple-minded fool sometimes, I swear. I'm sorry, did I say that out loud?
I completely understand that sometimes your mouth runs faster than your brain.
At least mine runs at all.
All right, well, have a great day. Click. Then he sits
Have a
back
great-
down.
She turns to the kitchen. She's like, "Hey, have a great day." What the hell does that mean anyway? It's dark outside all the time.
He sits back down and reopens the briefcase and is like,
And we see the briefcase. I dare ask what's in the briefcase. Maybe we don't even see it. It just pops open. Maybe it's your corporate
it's the Pulp
script you're
Fiction.
learning. Yeah, it's like,
it's his record. He has to put it in his records.
yeah. So you start writing your daily records to assure that you have, I don't know, reported appropriately.
Yeah.
But the marshal and Kitchens are left again alone as the Captain Desta has run off for a short period of time. Kitchens, do you have like a proper microscope, or is this more like a meth lab?
This is, well, I mean, I imagine that this is probably some sort of like
Why
sick
not
bay
both?
that he's acquired time.
Okay.
Implementations over time. So I imagine it's somewhere between yes and yes.
Okay. You could try to petri dish some of this stuff if you wanted to take a look and see if you could learn anything else about it. You would also probably standard, because this is a standard issue vessel, would have some computers here that might be able to run some diagnostics on, safely run some diagnostics on whatever this spore or whatever is.
Sure. Kitchens will probably try to multitask as much as he can here, just running some simple tests, seeing how it responds to various reagents. Meanwhile, he constantly keeps looking over, like overhearing their conversation, and he's He's very I don't want to say concerned as much as he just waits for that awkward conversation to end. And Kitchens goes, "So
Mm.
you guys had sex once or twice or 7 times, right?"
Why would you make that assumption?
Oh, you fight like a married couple. At least that's the what I've
Have
heard
you
people
ever
say.
been married?
I'm not technically allowed to get married. That is a union between
Right.
mouth breather and mouth breather.
Would you believe me if I told you I killed my last few husbands?
I would believe that. I would believe that. You
I've
work for
never been
Wayland Yutani.
married. Nah. Marriage is not my thing. I'm not gonna lie.
I didn't ask if you were married. I asked if you had sex.
You kind of missed the whole. Never mind.
Oh, okay.
Have you
All
ever
right.
had sex?
No, I'm damn interested in finding out though.
I am not going to help you with that. I'm going to go ahead and leave you to whatever it is that you're doing right there.
I was
and
never given the parts. Sure. Okay.
It's just a kid
That's
doll
not
down
the
there.
only. Okay, she like stops short when he says that, and she's like, "That is not the only way you can have sex." I'm just saying, and then she leaves.
But now I'm interested.
Now Kitchens is gonna have to do proper research.
She'll tell me later, or she won't.
And we see the centrifuge going, something's cooking over here, and maybe Kitchens put your eye back down to a microscope. I'm gonna get one more roll from you for medical aid.
When any of the mouth breathing crew comes back, I would like to see if I can procure a sample of blood.
I'm sure Captain Desta has shared blood with you before.
Yes. I mean, not that he
and-
would really be able to say much about it after the amount of MDMA that I give him before he heads off to his pathway.
Well, so it is known that is my next destination. After I've read the book.
Okay.
So whenever
All
I'm
right.
supposed to arrive, I'll arrive.
Let's start with this first medical aid, and we'll grab your blood when you arrive with new information about the book Space Beast. So let's go ahead and get that from Kitchens.
So I'll do the first medical aid now. 1 success.
Okay, that's all you need. So a few things become very apparent to you now that you've got it under like a microscope and you're running. So the centrifuge shows you that it very quickly separates itself from the synthetic fluids that are running through your system. It doesn't seem to want to attach itself to it in any way. When you put it under a microscope, you can tell that it is still seeking a host, as you said, as if it needs actual organic matter to kind of do that. The diagnostic on the computer tells you that it is slowly dying because, like any fungus, it hasn't delivered its package, basically. Like, it's not done what it needs to do in its natural processes, and so because of that, it's eventually going to die off if it doesn't find a host, and it's slowly losing life, if you will.
Sure. And I imagine that the longer it is away from the central mass, the largest portion, it dies faster.
Correct. Like,
So
it
then-
needs to deposit what it needs to deposit into the blood, more than likely. And you hear this like as the door opens and Captain Desta walks in.
Hitch, I need you to see something.
I need you to give me something. We can make a trade.
Fine.
Very well.
What do you need first?
I just need a small vial of blood.
You know I don't like needles, Kitch.
Well, you could simply, I will find a petri dish and something
Yeah.
sharp, just a small amount on dish.
Fine.
Either
You
way,
do it.
needle or dish, your call.
I
Would you
Ah.
cut my hand for the dish? Is that what it is?
Simple thumb prick more than anything else.
Fine, that's even better.
Okay.
will
I'll
cut my thumb.
draw some form of blade and make a small incision on the tip of the thumb.
Small scalpel, little incision, you drip, 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 and we watch this kind of close up as the blood plink, plink, plinks to a petri dish, and maybe you slide it back under the microscope, and I'm guessing you're going to feed some of this black whatever.
Yes.
And you've centrifuged it out from the fluid, so you even have the pure form of it. It's not mixed in with your bodily fluids anymore. And you feed it.
I definitely wanted to separate some of the blood so I can do a mixture of what it's like to have the synth fluid alongside and then just the pure substance.
Yeah, so kind of like a painter's palette. We see like actual blood, this milky white synthetic fluid. Maybe you even cut your own finger kitchens and do fresh, and then you drop some of this black fungi
Yes.
down on the petri dish with it, and you slide it under, and you zoom in and you begin to watch. It ignores your bodily fluids entirely, and as if it is starving, the black fungus attacks the white blood cells of this blood sample, and you watch as it deposits something into it. It infects the white blood cells, and then part of it dies off and becomes kind of gray in color. It's not quite as thick, but the white blood cells begin to coagulate the way blood clots happen, and it begins to kind of coagulate and coagulate and coagulate, and it becomes kind of hard. And then you watch as the glass of the petri dish cracks as it swells underneath it.
Okay.
Is that what you wanted to happen?
I back up.
Simply didn't know what was going to happen. It was part of the science. I had a need to know at this point in order for me to protect everyone, particularly you. You're the one that seems to matter most here.
Yes.
For what it's worth, Desta, I don't believe that Ren's bullets will protect you from anything, short of Mr. Dash, of course.
Yes. That's not what I'm worried about. I need you to read something.
And I hold out my tablet and I open it to the first page of Space Beast.
I will save you some time, and I will more or less just wire it into me. I have a wire to my port, and
Yep.
plug it right in, and now I have all the context. I can quote it directly to you.
I was about to say, your eyes probably only see like a bar that like bing, it fills up to 100%. You have the entirety of Space Beast downloaded into your brain.
Also, Game Mother, is the Petri dish sample still expanding or did it stop?
It stops. It's not enough to do what it needs to do. Does that make sense? But you do see at least it kind of stops. You can see the top has been cracked open. Almost the way that like, what is that, that expanding foam?
Yeah.
And then it kind of like, and it burst open into this black, disgusting, thick blood. Almost like the way a pimple would. It like swells, it cracks, and then it bursts. And the petri dish is ruined. But it doesn't seem to be alive anymore.
I think that book was being passed around as just a bunch of folklore, but it seems to be the first half of the story you were telling us.
From what I've seen on the film, I would say yes, this is probably a first-hand account, and it is accurate to my immediate knowledge.
I'm trying to think if there's anything more that you get, Kitchens. You now find out that the woman is seated, or was gestating something in her body, and that there was a second one that burst from the dog, which is probably the actual xenomorph or whatever it is that you saw.
It explains the quadrupedal movement. If it is seeking a host cellular form, it metabolizes to fit the form. Meaning that the form that we would see would not be quadrupedal. It would likely be bipedal with extreme dexterity.
What are you talking about?
The creature, the xenomorph explained in this book and in the film that I've witnessed, it moved very, very quickly on all fours.
You're sure we are not carrying one of those?
Not in the form that is depicted in this. No. Something much smaller. Something that has not quite yet been born or reached maturity.
Well, remember, Kitch, we are not just carrying 3 bodies, we are also carrying those crates. And the marshal, she mentioned something about shooting one that was like a mask on the face.
Then
we've
whatever
locked it up.
Inside,
I'm not.
Whatever is inside of those crates, those containers, isn't primarily what I would expect this creature to be. It has a secondary form. Think akin to a caterpillar and a butterfly, but hyper lethal.
So we're carrying a bunch of caterpillars.
If that helps you sleep at night, certainly.
It doesn't.
I wouldn't expect it to.
Well, I am glad that this ended up in the way that it did.
Desta,
You were
have to
talking
breathe.
earlier about...
You have to remove these. But you can't go down there. The payment is not valid. Doubling is not merely worth it. We're being underpaid. Likely by the millions.
Well, that much...
Millions.
Sorry,
Desta.
sorry. Say that one more time.
We are being underpaid likely by the millions, Desta. We are not just moving product. This is not an agent. This is a weapon. And from what I can see, it is perfect. I don't understand the point of what it was doing because it didn't seem to eat. At least as far as I could tell.
Oh, Kitchens. Sometimes this happens to you when you talk out loud. You say that, and you realize that Bishop also told you something else. About the first synth, David. And when you say out loud that you don't know what their purpose is, you realize that maybe you don't know its purpose, but you do recognize that it's the perfect killing machine for humans. It is designed to feed on their DNA, their metabolism, and their white blood cells.
Correct.
It is a pathogen for, or at least against them, regardless of what form it takes. But Kitchens, you do have samples back there. You could go get some blood or take some samples from the fresh egg sacs. Be a great way to compare.
I could sample this firsthand to tell you exactly what it is that we are facing, as I know I can speak with certain clarity. I believe that this is not what it is to immediately fear. I could also crack what it is inside of those hypersleep containers. Pull them out myself.
All of this for what reason?
Further analysis, mostly. Data is incredibly important for the shift of mankind.
This is data that supposedly Wayland Yutani would be getting anyway.
This is data that I would simply be mining for the sake of your own survival.
Is it necessary?
Is life necessary?
Well, when you put it like that, Kitchens, it's hard to argue with you.
Captain, is there a galley on board
What?
here?
You're thinking about food.
Is there a other than the synth? Is there a actual kitchen?
Yes. Funny. Yes, it's down the hall and to the left.
Great, thanks. Have a great day.
It's surprising how ordinary a person can still remain out here.
Wish I knew what that was like. I've learned a lot from you, Desta, in the short few years that we've been working together. And I think that when I said and proposed that human life is necessary, I meant that, simply because I've never been more human. I'm grateful for that. This is why I'm recommending that you either vent it or burn it.
Or let you take a look at it.
I'm simply working in this space because Wayland Yutani deems me necessary. I'm a project. They know that I've modified myself, hence why I'm still working community service. And from what I've managed to ascertain, I'm not actually what this symbiote of sorts desires. I lack the living material.
I know if I'm going to send anyone in, it's going to be you, but I'm mostly focused on the idea that we are being short-handed millions.
I think you missed the point, but that's okay.
And the camera cuts to the man who's probably paid millions. Dash, and the marshal is already in mess. There's a large kind of circular table, well lit area where everybody can sit and share.
Rin has her feet up on another chair. She's not gross enough to put it on the table, but she's got it up on another chair and just leaning back, having a drink and kind of picking at whatever food there is. Probably not great because space food, but
Marshall,
Mr. Corin.
drink on the job. Is there any food in here?
Sure, there's edible things.
Most of it comes out of a tube. Dash.
Help yourself if you like. And she kind of slides.
You know, on second thought, I would rather
jump out the airlock.
jump out the airlock. Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't. Is that food? What is that?
Have you not had much long-term space travel before?
No.
Oh.
I
little
prefer
baby in
the
space,
long
huh?
term where you go into cryo and then you wake up.
I imagine we'll be getting to that point soon.
That's my favorite part because you don't. Ooh.
They're kind of like space grits. It's high in protein and carbohydrates. They're spritz.
Well, ominous
spritz,
voice.
Spritz from a tube.
Well, ominous voice from the future. I don't like regular grits, so I'm definitely not gonna like space grits.
You heathen. Grits are
Yeah, who
amazing.
doesn't like grits? Grits are the jam. Thank
Everyone
you. But
from the Northeast.
untrue. But it's kind of like it's not as it's kind of like a grits patty, really. You can heat it or whatever, but it's sustenance.
I imagine
It's not
like,
anything
like
special.
a toothpaste tube you just make into a
Sus.
patty.
Yeah, it's like the tube they squeeze your Taco Bell out of from the ceiling.
Ah, yeah.
Gross.
Is that how that works?
Gross.
That is how that works. Did you not know? Taco Bell squeezes your stuff from a tube, y'all.
That's true. That is
Not
true.
surprised.
How's everything?
Well, not my usual rotation, but it's fine.
Yeah.
This is my last job, hopefully, so just trying to get through the day.
Before you retire?
Yeah, I'm done. Do you know how much money I made on all this bullshit?
Not a lot, I would assume, judging by
No, a lot. Quite a lot.
everything about you.
Just because I don't wear a fancy tie like you do don't mean I don't have money.
Oh,
You don't know much about me, Mr. Corin.
I'd like to usually keep it that way, but you just seem to keep popping up over and over again, no matter how much I try to avoid you.
Well, perhaps because my skill level is not matched by many other people.
Well, I guess I can't deny that. You are good at what you do.
You don't even know what I do.
That's
Not
why you
really.
must be good at it.
Yeah, that's true.
It hasn't been in a single report. So,
I wonder why that might be.
usually when I redact things, it's very important.
Dash,
Uh-oh.
Marshall, the two of you hear a strange noise coming from the cargo bay. The sound of a thud on the other side of dense metal doors. Something small, like somebody tossing a baseball against a wall.
That doesn't sound good.
It doesn't. Did you lock the cargo bay door?
Everything's been closed off, yes.
Where are the other two? They're not trustworthy.
Well, last I left Kitchens, he was in the lab. And I'm not sure where Captain Dusty went, so.
You know, I'm not entirely sure how I feel about a synth being on board, but... And
Well,
also...
you can't really do much about that.
That's true. And that captain, he like glances down at the glass, is also drinking on the job. And I haven't redacted anything about him.
I see. Have
What
you
an
fired
asshole.
a weapon before?
I mean, I've held a pistol.
I said, have you fired a weapon before?
I haven't had the need to. I'm sure I could figure it out. You
So
sort
the
of
answer is no.
point the little end at them and you squeeze, right?
Sure, guess it depends on the gun.
Same basic principle, I think, right?
Well, some are a little bit more of handling requirements than others.
That's what you're here for.
Yeah, I'll take the big gun. And she grabs her revolver and places it in his hand. I don't like the sound of whatever's happened in the cargo bay, so you're going to come along with me, and maybe we'll get some test practice for you. How's that about that?
Okay. Is there a safety? I've seen that in the videos.
Yes, there is a safety.
Worst.
Which one is it?
I'm just curious if you're going to figure that out for yourself or not.
I'd rather not.
Okay, take
know
your best guess.
now.
Don't actually do anything. Just point.
This one.
Try again.
This one.
Not bad. Close. Right there. She
Click.
just-
All right, let's go.
Perfect.
And
Put
up-
that safety
and-
back on.
And off you walk, and you
He
hear
does
it. Ding! Doo! Something on the other side, like tossing itself. Small. It's like it's force. It's something is being thrown against the double-plated metal doors on the other side of the cargo bay.
Do we hear this at all in the lab?
No, I would say this is why you two are like yik-yakking away, just like
Okay.
looking over blood, doing the things. Though, Captain Desta, I will have you very quickly make a observation check. Marshall, Dash, it's very clear there's something on the other side of this door that's rattling around or being thrown against the double door.
Nope.
Great. That's all right.
As they're walking, Ren's going to try to make some small talk. So, Mr. Corn,
Yes.
how long you been with Waylon again?
Oh man, I think in total it had to be like 100 and something. I think, but it's the cryo
sorry.
sleep. It's a whole like you
Okay.
sleep for lots of years in cryo, so I think it gets confusing the amount of time that I've actually been like in.
Yeah,
You know.
right.
Yeah.
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 Okay. So, you would say you're a pretty loyal company man then, yeah?
Oh, I mean, there's a reason I'm here, right?
There is.
Mhm.
I'm not real sure what that is, though. You want to share?
I'm protecting extremely important assets.
I see. Meaning the cargo
Correct.
and the entrances of Whaling Utani,
Correct.
which are what?
The cargo.
No. What is their interest in all of what happened on that planet? You saw what that man was, well, why I had to blow his brains out.
Well, I mean, as you know, Whale Utani is building a better future today.
Okay, cut the crap.
And so,
She
Annie-
gets really like, her face goes from the animated like smirkiness to like stone cold. Seriously. You know what kind of risk we're taking bringing this on, right?
well, as you should
As
be
in
well
you
aware.
are expendable and they don't give a fuck about you.
Well, I am a company asset, so
Are you though?
I am. As you know,
As they're walking.
Yeah, you can hear it. It's getting louder the closer you get to it.
as you know that, this space is pretty big, and there's a lot of things we don't understand out there. So anything that could help us understand space any better and help us make that better future today, Whaler Utani wants to research. How do you think we get better since? Understanding people, places, and things.
Okay, let me ask you a real situational question right now.
Sure.
If there is something on the other side of those doors that's threatening to kill you, do you want me to take it out and let the rest of the cargo go with it because that's the only solution? Or would you rather that you risk your life trying to get the cargo out?
What if?
No. This is not a negotiation, it's a direct question.
I would just keep the door closed.
Okay, what if it's gonna breach through the door, and if we don't get rid of it, we're all dead?
Well, we'd have to make our best effort to destroy whatever's there. I mean,
Are you allergic to answering questions directly or what?
that is what you're hired for. Make all attempts to save the cargo, of course.
I am hired to protect
The assets.
the assets in this particular case aren't necessarily the cargo.
I don't think that's in your contract.
Have you read my contract?
I wrote it.
Oh, you wrote it.
No offense to the drunk and the synth, but they're not company assets.
I see.
They are paid help.
All right. Well, this company asset is going to blast whatever it is, if need be, out their lock.
As long as the cargo is strapped down and suffers no risk of being tossed out the airlock with it, I have no problem with that.
Right.
We did strap it down.
Right.
Then there should be no issue.
Perhaps not.
Unless someone has unstrapped it and has been tampering with Wayland Yutani
Have you
assets.
been tampering with it?
I was taking a nap.
Oh, I see. You
And then
need
I
your
got
beauty sleep.
a little peckish, so I looked for a snack, but there's no crisps, so.
Nope. Do they get to the door? At
Yo,
this
yeah,
point?
you're like solidly
Yeah.
at the door, and you can hear that thing like.
Is there like a window to look through, or is it just completely solid?
Oh, there is no window because it's like the
Yeah,
double
yeah, yeah.
secondary doors. You can
Uh-huh.
open those and then have a window, but there would probably be a basic security cam feed of the cargo bay.
Oh, okay.
Like, you
okay.
know, like a screen next to the door that you could like ping on, and it's a single camera that overlooks the
Yeah.
entire cargo bay.
I'll look at that then. Yeah.
You hit the button and it comes up, and it's up high on one of the corners, and it looks down on this big empty space. You see all the cargo is still strapped in. From what you can tell, none of the boxes seem disrupted or opened. You can still see the one box that has the fungus that was kind of messed with. Your eye sees that it's spreading.
The fungus.
Yes, it's now kind of on the ground and like growing up another box. It is specifically coming out of one of the body boxes. That I'll say.
Marshall, correct me if
Yes?
I'm wrong, but it sure does look like someone tampered.
No.
I mean,
That's
those
not from
were-
that is not from the tampering of any kind.
Those were fully sealed cases.
No.
We watched them get sealed.
I'm fairly certain that one of those was damaged during our transportation adventure.
Oh.
At least that's what I'm, concluding at this point. Considering there was explosions and grenades and crazy things
Dash.
flying all over the place.
That is true.
You would have an inventory of what you're carrying.
Great.
You would know that you have 3 bodies that are on ice, dead bodies that are on ice. You have 4 additional crates of like square size. 3 of them were carrying eggs. Those egg sacs. The other one was carrying it just says biological material, hazardous biological material. Do not open. Like it was like nice and sealed tight.
Mm-hmm. And which one is leaking?
Surprisingly enough, it's not that it's leaking. It looks like fungus is growing out of one of the body ones. You don't exactly know why.
Well, I feel like if we just keep the airlock closed, everything will be fine.
Right, but what is making that noise banging up against it? Because I can't see it on the camera. Can you?
I can't, but I feel like the only way to see is to open that, and opening that sounds like...
It definitely is an angle problem. I'll say that much.
I feel like we
Right,
shouldn't
so-
do that.
The problem is we don't know if that thing can, whatever it is, could breach through. It might be structural damage for all we know. I don't know.
It's true. And then the thudding stops. And it goes
Okay.
very quiet.
Clearly, it was just the creaking ship and the pressure of space.
That's not how that works.
It happens on submarines, I'm told.
Like he's ever been in a submarine.
That's exactly what Rin is thinking, but she don't say it this time.
And it is relatively quiet. Do you choose to open the door, or are you going to leave it closed?
I
Rin's
know.
gonna wait.
I know that
Okay.
there's only a crew of 2-ish, but any captain worth his salt should have some kind of way to tell if there's any damage to a ship, right? Ship some kind of sensor or engineering report or something.
That's true.
I mean, if he's sober enough to function, we could ask him.
Right. Okay. Well, comm system, I'm guessing, is available at this terminal, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Captain.
Yes, why do you sound worried?
Is my
Wow.
worry? Sound worried?
That's not your worried voice.
Okay. Do you have ship diagnostics you can pull up and make sure nothing's wrong with the ship anywhere?
Yes,
Could
And
you do
I-
that, please?
I do so. If I need to return to the cockpit to do that, then I do that.
Okay.
So, Game Mother, do I need to? Can I look up the diagnostics of the ship from the lab, or do I need to go back to the cockpit?
You would head back up to the cockpit and run a quick diagnostic. From
All
what
right.
you can tell, there is no hull damage. The only thing that you see is, for some reason, one of the cranes in the cargo bay has been released. Like, you can see it's like broken. It's like failure. The like crane piece is like dangling, and that may be what's banging against the walls of the cargo bay.
This crane would normally be used to offload cargo. Yes,
Yes.
or no? Yeah.
Yeah, it would be used to like come down, pick up large boxes, and move it to that one piece that drops down, right? So it could be moved. It's like an internal crane.
I saying over the comms.
One of the pieces of equipment inside the cargo bay is damaged. I don't know why.
Which piece?
A crane to be
Oh.
used to offload.
Well, we better secure it because if that's moving around, that can thrash about on those crates. So, all right. Thank you.
Oh, wait,
oh,
hold
what?
on.
Yep. What?
Let me send Kitch in.
Why is he also doing mechanical work now too? Well, they mean the whole kitchen sink. They really mean the whole kitchen sink, don't they? You know that phrase? You turn a phrase?
I'll meet you down in front of the
Right. Okay.
airlock.
Your shit. Let's go.
I go to the lab to pick up.
Yeah.
Kitch.
Grab kitchens on the way, and the four of you, for the first time really in this trip, it's been a few hours, convene at a double-plated metal door. The sound stops, has stopped for a while, and then when they arrive, it begins again.
Right. So there's a situation with that fungus bit, so I'd recommend anybody going in be wearing a suit.
I have a compression suit.
Yeah.
I was
think
suggesting that we
just
send
bio
in
suit.
Kitch because he's the only.
Well, that's not necessarily okay because it still latched onto him last time.
And it was aptly removed.
Yes, it was.
Ah, kitchens! Maybe even points. It's aptly removed and points to it. Marshall, roll an observation.
Okay.
Captain Desta missed it.
Any bonuses?
Nope.
Okay.
And also, Corin didn't know before right now.
It's
that
true that
something
there's
had
something-
happened.
Two successes.
When he points, you see that what was just a small black hole earlier where like the injection needle was, seems to now be growing fungus.
She like
It's-
grabs Kitch and like shoves him against the wall, like his head and his back. Oh shit!
I'm sorry, did I miss something?
A bit.
Why are you?
Okay, everybody, put
So
on
like a spider on my back?
put
What's
on your
going
suits, and Rin literally goes and just holds her breath.
Oh no! All right, where is my compression suit?
And I run and go
Jesus
look for
Christ, Zach.
My super suit.
Here's my super suit!
Kitchens!
And we see everybody like quickly like suit up and try to like cover their mouths, and kitchens, maybe you're just standing there on the outside of this airlock like, what are they talking about? And maybe you feel it. It's kind of it's almost like a you know, what humans talk about acne. You've never had acne, but it's kind of like a breakout near the back of your neck where the extraction point was. It's kind of growing and bumpy.
How can I like do? Is there a method for me to sort of like diagnose the distance of which it is trying to expel itself or to grow on my person?
Right now, it seems that maybe any kind of residual residue that was left seems to be... It can attach itself to your blood, but the fungus seems to be using your synthetic skin as a new host for their spores. It's growing spore sacs on your neck.
Okay.
At a very slow rate. Like, it's very tiny right now. Like, you don't have anything bulbous or anything. It's like teeny. It feels like little pimples.
Okay, I don't want to alarm anybody. However, I have very good news for the crew of the...
Spearhead.
Thank you. Chances are, Captain,
Yes?
if you play your cards right, you could be a very rich man.
I was going to ask about that.
It seems as though there is some kind of organism on your synth here.
No, I don't actually belong to him.
What's your point, Mr. Corin?
Any kind of organism that would grow on a synth would be valuable to the Weyland-Yutani Corporation. Therefore, if we quarantine this synth, sounds like there's a good payday in your future.
I check how long it is until we are to reach our fuel stop.
You've technically got about 7 hours or so before you reach the fuel stop. It's up to you how you spend that time. I would think the kitchens, you would have known from all the research that you did that it does seem susceptible to extreme temperatures. So something like extreme cold or extreme heat would kill it. Cold would stop it from its growth. Just the way a wart spreads.
And would we be able to, if we wanted to, put someone in cryo before we got to the fuel stop and just leave them on ice all the way until we make it? Like, could we put someone on cryo early?
Yes, you sure could.
Okay. So knowing that, Desta would turn to Kitch and say,
What if we were to put you in cryo early?
Cryo doesn't actually do anything for a synth.
But
And-
it would do something for the thing that is growing on you.
Briefly. It may do something. It could stasis it temporarily, but at any rate, I've already begun activating the processes to incinerate it from my person.
Oh. How are you going to do that?
After install. Easy enough. Something that didn't require much in the way of credits. It's like an infraburner.
All right.
Anyway, okay. So we gotta secure this tidbit here. I got my suit on. Who's gonna help me with that while he expels spore demons?
I know this is a very emotional moment here, and we may have just discovered a new alien creature growing out of a synth, but
Oh yeah, you know what? All of you can take stress for that.
Unless you prefer I didn't. Is it more valuable for you to have this symbiotic spore attached to me?
I think the assumption is, Mr. Corin, that
yes.
this organism simply did not come out of nowhere.
Right, but it seems to be previously undiscovered and growing out of a synth. Like I
What
said,
if
good
it
payday.
was in the crates that I was carrying?
No,
It
the crates
was.
don't have that in
Yes,
there.
it was. It's the same thing on the crate.
is-
Can
it is
you
the
just
same-
look in the
It's the
camera?
same from the crate.
It's the same thing.
I would
I mean-
recommend with haste that you apply your suits, because if this expels any spores whatsoever, the moment that it finds your blood, you will
You
wind
don't
up
need to go
more
any further.
than
It's
simple
all right.
property of Weyland Yutani.
The
If we
suits
haven't
are
put
on.
on our suits yet, then we're about
Yeah,
to.
I imagine they're like all of you are like zipping up
Yes.
if you haven't already.
Yeah.
I would say that you would know you could simply remove the layer of skin. It's not feeding on you.
Correct.
It's just the surface. It's like
Attached,
using
right.
you as attached to you. So you
Yeah.
could just remove the plate of skin and put it on ice if you wanted to.
If that's the case, then I'm capable of removing down to the depths of the dermis and applying something to remove.
sounds like the newest song on my album. Down to the depths of the dermis.
Then I will. I will
Okay.
go through that process. I'll probably have to require someone in a suit to do it, so that I can festoon some sort of apparatus
Who
to
wants
the
to
rear side
make
of
the
the neck.
medical aid check to cut it open from his neck?
I
Cut it
am
off of his neck.
I am not skilled in medic.
Rin can do it again, but
Okay,
Oh,
whoever. It's not.
Yeah.
It only needs a single. It's just a
Okay.
single success. Somebody just needs to try to cut it from his neck.
I actually have
What is
medical
it,
skills.
Mr. Corin? Oh,
You have what?
Medical skills.
Oh,
you lied to me earlier.
what am I?
I asked you if you had any talents, Mr. Corin.
No, you asked if I had any additional talents. I already had that one.
All right, go ahead and you do that. I'm gonna go secure this.
Ugh.
The devil
Piece
went
of
down to
equipment.
Dermis. All right, let's get the roll.
Oh, I forgot there's like a backup button. Hold on. Submit no modifiers.
Holy
Whoa.
shit balls.
Well.
You watch as Dash, with a very steady hand, cuts an absolutely perfect square on the back of Kitchens' neck. He pries the piece of skin away, and you actually see the underlying skeleton, the synthetic one of Kitchens. It bleeds this milky white color, only for a little bit. And I'm sure Dash, with 3, slaps a piece of like second skin on it, and it quickly like and heals that up.
And
So that he,
you would
yeah.
then see him like drop down to the floor and like open that briefcase that he carries with him everywhere, and opens it up and takes out a silver canister that just opens, and he puts that skin piece in it and locks it back down.
And
Mr.
you,
Corin,
Yes,
you have incredibly steady hands.
Thank
Were you
you.
once a surgeon, or when did they make you?
I was not a surgeon. I was a pianist when I was a kid. And it just sort
are
of
you lying?
not as far as everyone else knows. Dot.
You still have to roll the manipulation. And I would think you could all... I would say that Kitchens can make the observation roll to see if he's lying. Only Kitchens. That's pretty damn good.
Ooh.
I just want to see...
I was a pianist.
2.
It's real close. You don't totally trust him, but you can't figure out why. He seems honest.
That's the second piece that's given Kitchens that idea. It's mostly his detached demeanor to everything short of Wayland Yutani.
That's the tagline for Dash. It's like, you're uncomfortable. You can't really place why. Yeah, no, I was a pianist. It was a, family thing.
I don't know.
Oh, well, I mean, do you have music on the ship
No,
at
no,
all?
Desta may, but I do not.
Oh. A piano is a instrument that makes
I
music.
know what a
and you
piano
play-
is, Dash.
Oh, sorry. I did. I assumed. I mean, if you live and the spores don't kill you, I could teach you how to play piano.
We need to secure this crane.
Yeah, Ren is literally
crane.
already getting ready to go
So,
in.
I
I'm
imagine...
assuming
Okay, yeah.
we're all able to. I know you mentioned that we received weapons, like basic weapons.
They are also in the cargo bay.
Oh, great. All
They're
right.
part of all of those crates.
Well, I have a stun baton.
Then,
You
Mr.
do.
Corin, I would recommend that you and I take front line. With your deft hands, you certainly might be able to prevent anything from attaching to us.
Oh, but I've never fired a weapon before.
Yeah, this was his test run. I gave him my revolver.
Yeah, she actually just showed me where the safety was, so.
Yeah.
It's totally fine. I don't actually believe that you're living because you are lifeless and you work for Wayland Yutani.
A lot of people feel like that about them people.
I have heard that many times.
And this is why I like having Kitch on my
It's
ship.
like,
I mean, if you don't
since
believe him, just go poke him with,
Wayland
with a
Yutani-
knife and just see if he bleeds. There you go.
I don't
Easy
want
peasy.
to be stabbed. Ever.
You want me to punch you instead?
I don't.
This is what I asked for. I needed to know if you had had sex recently because you fight this way.
Oh, Lord.
Okay. Back to the mission at hand.
It seems this way, Desta. Does it not? They fight as the
Kitch,
no, that
aside
is-
from that, what are you saying? I've never seen you act this way towards someone.
I was just admiring his skill with the blade.
I get it. I
Doctors
have
make
an
infinitely more
off-putting-
than a salesman for Wayland Yutani. I understand that they basically dominate the galaxy, but doctors are highly sought after.
Actually, I make a pretty good,
A
pretty
pretty
good-
good what?
like, pay. Like, I make pretty good money.
It makes one hole pretty good. I understand.
What?
Who opens the door? Great. The first door. And it reveals the bay. In the air are light particles the fungus has definitely begun to spread off in like an isolated corner, and you can see the crane that is for whatever reason like loose, and this piece is banging about. It comes swinging down, like
Oh.
towards the door, because that's what it does. I'm gonna have everybody make a mobility check.
Eek.
All
right.
Okay.
This is fun. Check mobility.
Okay, I got 2.
Success.
No.
Oh no.
Okay. Come on. Come on, Dash. Oh, Dash succeeded.
No, he
No.
didn't.
Mm.
Dot, how dangerous does this look?
Fucking dangerous, man. It's a swinging crane.
Oh yeah, you guys could push.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and use my talent,
Okay.
which is personal safety.
God. Okay.
The interest,
Oh,
the
I
interests,
remember you describing that.
the interests of the
no.
company always come first, no matter what, and you
Oh,
represent the company. That means your own safety is paramount. Other crew members are expendable.
Where's I don't see Dash's roll at all.
I haven't rolled yet. I'm using
Yeah.
my talent.
He's gonna
Okay.
use a talent.
Uh,
Okay,
if-
so
if-
what does the talent actually add?
It says if you are attacked or otherwise end up in danger of fatal condition, and if anyone is near you, friendly PC or NPC within a short range, I can make a manipulation roll instead, and they get in the way.
Okay.
Save me, hurt them.
Okay. All right, so you don't need to roll, is what you're telling me.
I need to make a manipulation roll.
Okay, make a manipulation roll instead, and then tell me who you put in your way. And then I also need from the marshal a panic roll. I hate you.
I think I immediately I immediately click, and the gun does nothing because the
Click, click,
safety's
click.
back
The
on.
thing is, like,
and then
swinging.
and then I grab the marshal and go no.
Oh, another one.
Another
You
8.
tremble.
Yeah.
You open this thing, and your hand's still not steady as Dash grabs you and puts you in front of him. This crane comes swinging down and smashes into your gut and into Dash. You hear the marshal's ribs crack. Marshal, you're gonna take what is considered 2 points of health damage from this swinging crane. It swings back. I need somebody to deal with heavy machinery to lock this in place. Who's doing that?
If no
Probably
one
the
else
captain,
will,
right?
I will.
You know how to like secure this. This is your
Yeah.
ship. So make a
Also,
heavy machinery roll.
Kitch also failed the mobility for the crane.
Oh, he did.
Yes.
Do you want to finish describing that before I try?
Yeah, I'll
think-
say. All right. Here's how do I want to do this? Because I want to give a little piece away. Okay. How about the crane knocks all 3 of you, the marshal into Dash into Kitchens, and all of you go tumbling. The marshal is definitely injured and is probably bleeding. Kitchens, when you roll over and look at Dash, I'm gonna have you make an observation check.
Sure. I gotcha. One
Okay.
success.
Maybe you see him wipe a little milky white blood from his nose or lip. No major injuries, but just enough that you can confirm your suspicions. And Captain Desta, let's get that quick roll to lock this in place.
Yes, heavy machinery, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One
That's
success.
all the success you need. You kind of run in there. The first thing that you see is that whatever was holding it to the ceiling has was released, or over time maybe it had rubbed clean. The binding did not hold, and so you have to rebind it, and you put this thing to the ceiling, and all in all that is all that you find. The crates are still locked tight. Everything
Okay.
seems rather normal.
So I've secured the crane down, so it's no longer going to swing around like that. Okay.
Yep.
I turn to everyone that just fell down, which I think was everyone except for me.
Yep.
And I say, "Are you all right?" I try to help up Rin because she looks
Oh,
like
she
she's
does not.
probably-
No.
Oh, no,
She doesn't
please don't- don't-
Nobody even knows that she's hurt. Like, she got the blood dripping down, and that's about it. There is no outward sign of injury whatsoever. she takes a pause and like catches her breath. I would say probably just and then she like slow turns to Corin. Really?
The gun did nothing.
On a crate, of course it's not gonna do. Give me that.
Well, I don't even know why you gave it to
Snatches
me.
2 doors close again to reseal the space now that it's secured.
You should definitely go to the med bay if there's a
I'm
med bay.
fine.
I
Oh,
don't.
we've left the cargo hold. Is that
I
what you're
would
saying?
think that you lock it
Okay.
down,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because
I-
it's contaminated.
Desta
Yeah.
in a before we leave, 2 things. The guns that were in the cargo hold. If they're not like right next to the door and easy to access, like if they're on the other side of the cargo hold, I won't go further in. But if they are close, I'll try to get them.
I'll say you can grab a couple weapons.
Okay. And then the second thing is Desta just very quickly looks around for what may have caused the crane to come loose or like anything out of
Roll
place.
an observation.
I mean, obviously other than the fact that the fungus is growing, but
Yeah. See if you note anything else.
1 success.
Nothing that you can tell. It looks like a pretty natural, or it looks like some wear and tear,
Mhm.
whatever the binding was to the ceiling, over time, and it just released. It happens. Shit gets old. It's an old ship.
Okay, I turn and I do lock the airlock.
And you lock the airlock. And I imagine the rest of this trip is you've gotten the fungus on the back of Kitchen's neck into some kind of cold storage. And all 4 of you, maybe you have a cordial ride through space, maybe you spend some time alone, but you don't hear anything else. It is a quiet ride to the base, to this kind of a stopping point, this way station, Wayland Yutani's way station. Captain Desta, you do hear, of course, as you pull in after this happens, what was the name of your ship? What do we call it?
The spearhead,
The Spearhead. Yeah, they go.
otherwise
Yeah,
known as the spearhead.
the Spearhead. Spearhead. Come in, Spearhead. Confirming that
Yes,
flight
we are
has
ready.
been smooth.
Yes.
Captain Desta, you would know anytime there's a problem or a quarantine break, you must report it before docking with a station.
And this is a Wayland Yutani station.
So you have a choice. Do you tell them or not?
Where is everyone? Is everyone around Desta, rather?
I would think you're probably getting ready for cryo, because the next phase, like within the next 30 minutes, once you dock, refuel, you're going to be shot into space faster than light. So you would be prepping for
Yeah.
sleep, hypersleep, if you're going to go under hypersleep.
Would they?
I'll probably like gear up the since obviously like he doesn't need it. He'll probably gear the tubes up before they're hypersleep.
Yeah. Yeah, you're like checking all the mechanisms and making sure that it's, right, so they don't die in cryosleep or whatever.
I feel like Dash would be on the bridge for the pass through of a Wayland Yutani.
I also think that might
Thing.
be the case.
And as there's that moral quandary on Desta,
I do have a
Yeah.
question though. Before that, to the game mother,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of whether or not I lie, is it a usual case that they're going to come on the ship and like inspect it or things like that?
Only
Only if you report.
you've
that there's
you've been through these before.
Okay.
As long as you remain cool, you can get away with them coming on board. If they suspect something, they'll search
Okay.
the vessel.
So then coming back to the present,
Mhm.
Desta would pause for a few seconds and looks like he's about to say something, but if you were going to interrupt, then
yeah, he like steps up to you and says, "Captain, if I may."
I look at you for a few moments and then press the intercom and say,
We have had no problems. Everything has been fine on the ship.
and I
Copy that.
pull my button off, pull my finger off of the button.
Please prepare for docking. Fueling will begin momentarily. You're welcome to say anything you'd like, as long as Captain Desta lets Dash to the the intercom button.
No, he just looks at me and says, "Oh, well, I have corporate clearance. We could have just transferred
doesn't
my
work.
clothes."
What would you have said?
Nothing. I would have transferred my corporate clearance clothes, and they would have just let us through.
You can still do it.
As that might be the case, Desta looks at Corin and says,
That wouldn't be procedure. Obviously, something has happened. right? Mr.
Well,
Corbin?
you see, doctors may make some money, but corporate clearance has its perks. And an important cargo like that for Wayland Yutani gets through any doors.
I'm saying the quandary of you were moments ago saying all these things about Wayland Yutani, Wayland Yutani.
Mm-hmm.
We've obviously broken a code of your company, and yet you
Yeah.
do not want to report it.
Well, this is a little bit above that. A little bit above your pay grade.
I see.
Hence,
Would
corporate clearance.
applying these codes guarantee more pay?
They would not. However, your synth might guarantee more pay. He's clearly incubating some kind of spore.
That you removed.
I don't know where that came from.
Did you not see the cargo hold that we brazenly stepped into?
No, I'm sorry. I don't know where it came from on him. If it's inside him and grew out of him, then perhaps there's more inside of him.
You would know that's probably not the case, Captain Desta. That, from what you learned in the lab with him, it needs real life to live on. It can't live off synthetic life.
If your clearance will make us look at least better in appearance to the company, then go ahead and give it.
It would make it look like it's not a lie.
Sure, go ahead.
He hits the intercom button and he pulls out the card and puts it in the deck and then hits the intercom. Transferring corporate clearance. Data sending now.
There's a pause, and then the whoever is managing the docks comes back on and says, copy that, corporate clearance. Please, Doc. We will have you in and out in no time.
Great. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
They don't question anything. They go, thank you, Wayland Yutani. Click. And they do, in fact. You are able to dock. If you want to make a piloting roll, you're welcome to.
Oh, I would love to.
Yeah. Let's see you pull this puppy in.
See, Captain, everything is better when Wayland Yutani's on your side.
Everything's
of course.
better.
Where is
when Wayland
Ren?
Yutani's...
Nursing a broken rib.
Where is she? I wonder.
I want to find Ren. Gotta find Marshal Ren.
Rin has probably been really, really close to the cargo bay. In particular, not necessarily standing out in front of it, but once everybody cleared off, she circled back and kind of stationed herself in maybe a hallway or a room. That way she's in earshot and can also keep an eye on people passing through if they happen to try to go back to the cargo bay.
I would like to seek a private meeting with you.
Okay. You can find her. She's not
Sure.
going to be sneaking in the
it's not a
shadows.
super
but it's
large
just
ship.
Yeah.
But I will make sure that they're preoccupied, and
Mhm.
I pull you briefly away. Ren,
Mm.
I understand that as a synthetic, I might make you uncomfortable.
Not really, no.
Good. That makes this easier then.
Okay. Am I
Captain
going to like
Desta,
this easier or no?
You won't mind it coming from me. Perhaps another might be a bit more terse.
I see. All right.
Captain
What you got?
Desta is like you, in the sense that he, one, is a mouth breather. Similarly, he has quite an advanced knowledge of utilizing firearms and mechanisms as such.
Mm-hmm.
And I desire to see Desta survive through this, as he is one of the few that have seen through the plight of me being a synthetic and my shortcomings.
Okay.
I want to inform you that despite what it is that Dash says, Dash is also a synthetic. I witnessed his bleeding. It was brief. But the synthetic fluid, our blood, if you will, had in fact dripped from a performatory nasal passage.
How certain are you of this?
I have no immediate proof, but I have no reason to lie. And
That's true.
the only thing I have to gain is Desta's continued life. The reason that I bring this to your knowledge specifically, and not to Desta, as he is a man that is addled and blinded by money and a desire to support others that are not himself. I don't think it was the primary directive to see this shipment make it to a destination with just these 3 bodies.
If you're implying what I think you're implying,
I believe that Dash might have a secondary objective of potentially seating other individuals. You did say
well,
that you were reaching the end of your time with Wayland Yutani, correct?
yes, I had planned on making my journey in another direction.
Wayland Yutani makes sure that that is not something that is feasible or an option. Hence
Yeah, I
why I'm
believe they
still
do that.
hence why I'm still in community service. I will always be a product of theirs.
Let's see. What do you recommend our solution is then? I got a few options, but they're probably not the best ones.
I don't necessarily know if the options that I come up with are the most suitable if you intend to continue to make income, but I do not believe that it is Wayland Yutani's agenda to see anyone come out of this short of a hypersleep box.
Okay. How about this? We rig your hypersleep so that you get up before everybody else.
Hypersleep has no effect on myself, and if
Are you not going to go under?
I simply must plug in from time to time.
I was
Generation
going to say, it will put your body into stasis. You can put your body into cryostasis.
I can force it, but unless I force it upon Dash, he will not, as similarly to myself, go into
Right.
a form of stasis.
I have a question for you. Do we have enough time for you to rig I don't know, some kind of a timer? So if his opens, mine opens.
That shouldn't be a problem. I set timers on these things.
Okay. We'll make it happen. That way, if he gets up, well, no funny business.
Of course. Of course.
Thank you. And I'll keep this to myself, just between the both of us.
That's probably within the best interest of your continued survival and Desta's.
I agree.
I nod, and I'll go off to rig your container to work better.
Yeah, you continue fixing
work better.
everything up. Are you your plan is to not go into cryo at all? You're going to maintain the vessel while they sleep in cryo kitchens and make the rest of the trip?
For as long as I need to. If it comes down to a situation where something terrible might happen to the ship, I will simulate a state of hypersleep, just pretend.
To pretend. Okay, well, things go smooth. They fuel you up, and within 10 minutes, you're first in line to leave the station and continue your trip. It will be 8 weeks in hypersleep. One at a time, you're each loaded into a pod. Because this is, yeah.
Do something before going in.
Yeah.
Hearing about the fact that we're carrying this space beast and how many people died before we got there, what happened at the prison, Dash's questionable intentions, regardless of the whole thing that Desta doesn't know, and the direness that Kitchens was putting to this. Before he goes under, Desta's going to go into his room and is going to call up Shakespeare. Or whatever his name was.
Yeah, Shakespeare. You ring back up Shakespeare. It's not even been 12 hours. It rings and it rings and it rings, and finally the line picks up. What? He's butt-ass naked.
Are you looking to make some more money?
Depends on how much, man. He gestures to a circular bed with 2 beautiful figures on it.
Are you in any condition to do a bit of kiting, following?
You want me to track your ship?
I'm carrying some very valuable cargo, and I'm afraid of, well, pirates, other things. I have a bad feeling.
Is that right? Well, he says, fine, I can track it. For how long?
Mm. 8 weeks, give or
I want
take.
$1,000 a week.
That's done.
Fine. He said, send me your locator signal.
I do.
He back, and there's like a click and a click and you all click back to one another and you send over he go and you hear it on his end. Boop. I got you, man. I don't know what you're worried about pirates for. You're flying right through Wayland-Yutani space. You'll be fine.
Yes, it's nothing to be concerned about, especially with nothing. Do you know of anyone who frequents this sector up here? And I point to our destination.
Boop. Oh, he goes, oh yeah. Your destination being the space station, the Wayland-Yutani space station. I gotta remember the name of it. And I'm gonna have to
It
put
was
my
like
grandma
super
glasses
far
on 'cause
up
I
out of
can't
the way.
fucking see. Yes, it was. You're headed towards Tark Wayland Station.
Mm-hmm.
This is known as the Wayland Isles sector. It is on the spineward, rimward side of the like space mappings, which is for us northwest. So you know it's technically considered like outskirts, but this one star system in particular, where this station sets, is secure Wayland-Yutani space. And from this point, they've been sending out to different planets and things within this sector to terraform, to find minerals and those kind of things. They've been doing some research. So this is a brand, I say a brand new, it's been here about 15 years, this space station, and is well established.
Yeah.
It's a research facility.
Do you know any other truckers that frequent this outer rim here?
Sometimes, but mostly that's Wayland-Yutani space. They don't like people out there. They're trying to, find whatever they can, I guess.
All right. All right. If something happens to my ship, or if we go off course, then I want you to send someone.
To what, man?
To our destination. I tell him where we're arriving, or where we're supposed to arrive.
Okay. He goes, yeah, I'll keep an eye on it. I'll check it. If you don't make it, I'll send a report or something.
To who?
I don't know where you want it, man. You're paying me.
I need someone if our ship does not arrive, or if it arrives, or if something happens to the ship. I want you to just contact the closest trucker to that station.
Just anybody?
Anyone.
All right, man.
Tell
I'll
them
let him know to come
I'll
get
give
you.
them 5,000 just to come get us if we get stranded. We're carrying explosives. That's a part of it.
All right, man. Shut up, cat. He says to a cat that pitters across the back, space cat. Because why not? And he says, all right, man, you got it. He goes, can I just get back to,
Yeah, I know you have. I'm not going to say it. All right. Have a wonderful time. And
Boop. And he clicks, and you feel like he's an honest man. I mean, he does cheeky jobs and things, but he will do what you ask of him. He works for pay, just like most truckers do. And your pay is solid, and it came through, and he'll do it. And there's a few minutes while everybody suits up, pods up, those kinds of things. Who's in first?
Desta would argue that the pilot should go in last. If Kitchens isn't going in at all, then
that's pretty standard. Because you're setting the trajectory and the course and so forth and so on.
Completely ignorant to everything, Dash just walks in and gets in the cooler.
Gets in his little cryopod. He's first in. Boop, boop, boop. We watch as Kitchens puts him under. He has solid lifeline signals. Everything seems normal. But, of course, the pod next to it belongs to the Marshal, and you have rigged it to open if his opens. For any reason. The Marshal enters the pod. Closed. Life signs. Normal. Last is your best friend. Captain Desta, you know that Kitchens will pretty much stay awake for the majority of this trip. The next 8 weeks he will spend alone. On the ship, probably doing drugs.
Hey. I say to Kitch before I get in, if something happens, you need to wake me up, obviously.
Hey, no problem, man. Shouldn't be an issue. You worried? You shouldn't be worried.
You made me very worried earlier.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you all die sometime, right? I mean, that's the point of living, right? That's what makes you feel alive, is knowing that one day it all comes to an end.
Is that something that you wish you had? An end?
I don't know. Not really sure. But if it makes me feel alive, I'll chase it. That's why I chase the drugs. Because maybe one day I'll figure out what it is to be alive.
All right, you keep kitchening.
Yeah. And you keep studying. Get some sleep.
In he goes. It closes. His looks stable. You've set him up, of course, to be the first pod open. The captain is always the first pod open when you arrive. Everything seems normal, Kitchens. And the ship begins its trajectory across empty space towards this Wayland-Yutani station, which will arrive at in 8 weeks. And we see a series of, I would say, montages of Kitchens spending time alone on this empty vessel, walking to and fro. What does Kitchens actually do?
Probably break into Dash's personal belongings.
Does he find anything of interest, Dash?
Mute. Nope. There is a briefcase that is completely empty, and just that silver canister in it that contains Dash or kitchen flesh.
That's it. He seems almost
Kitchen flesh.
inhuman. There's nothing here.
Then he's going to make the mental note to redact some information and some previous thoughts, as he believes that now Dash is a synth that doesn't know he's a synth. Or that doesn't actually
Is unaware of it. Interesting. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So maybe you simmer on this. You put some pieces together. Do you continue researching what of this black material you have, or did you go into the cargo bay, or are you a good Kitchens for 8 weeks?
I think the one thing that probably sits on Kitchen's mind is, why did Bishop give him the information knowing that he sent Dash on this mission? That's probably interesting enough to just have him run the gamut of whatever is very normal and
ponder constantly. Yeah.
Part of being alive is not knowing that you're something else entirely. So
right. And Dash has that option, maybe, and you don't. And maybe you ponder over why Bishop gave this to you. Why did he tell you about David? Maybe you spend some time trying to do some research on David. And you find that don't find a lot of information. David's existence, the first synth, was kept very secret and private. He was Wayland's greatest achievement, some would say. Lost with him on his mission all those years ago to that planet where he believed he was finding his maker. David never returned. But David's notes, at least what has been recovered and is considered somewhat public knowledge, is interesting. He talks a lot about what is creation and life. It's like reading the journal of an artist, not of a synth. Somebody obsessed with this idea of making and giving life. And you realize that David found something similar to what you did. Found the answer, he thought, to creating life. Though most of his notes have been redacted, a lot of them, most of the drawings and the sketches and the things that were and or might have been recovered from Wayland's last trip.
Could I, perchance, open those redacted files to original place with any of Dash's information?
Maybe you find Dash's card, sure. And as it clears up, you see like the black, like clear the screen. You begin to see these anatomical drawings of a creature with 6 legs. This process over time, he talks about a biological weapon that was found on this planet, how it seemed to clot inside the blood of humans and burst them open with new life. He became a little obsessed, and eventually his research becomes his research becomes about creating life from life, and about a woman, and about motherhood, and this gobbled mess of scientific notes. But eventually he creates life. And you see the final drawing of a woman's body splayed open, a creature embedded into her chest, dead, of course, but there. And I would say, Kitchens, you spend weeks trying to sort through this, trying to make heads or tails of what this all means. But there's something that speaks to you as a synth about David's notes, about finding out what life really is about creation and about making. Something that he so desperately wanted to do and eventually succeeded at. And about 5 weeks into an 8-week trip, Kitchens, you are startled from what might have been weeks worth of non-stop research. You don't have to sleep. You just have to plug into a wall, basically. You get a caution, like a woo, 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 aboard the vessel. It's not a like red light. It's like a yellow light. Something's wrong in the cockpit.
I will go to investigate.
When you arrive, you catch a creature. 3-legged, tail. It turns and looks at you, you're pretty sure. It has no eyes per se, but a rather large orifice on its center. You know this creature from, or at least something from David's notes. Instead of jumping and face-hugging you, it instead looks at you, takes you in, and then takes its tail and jams it into the cockpit. Begins to smoke and fire, and the whole creature just like flops over, dead. It goes from red to yellow, and the ship goes, warning, warning. Trajectory off course, trajectory off course. Maintenance required. Cockpit compromised. Cockpit compromised.
I think Kitchen's deadpan immediately finds himself in a situation where he needs protection, and he wishes to go back to the hypersleep chambers, and will likely at least protect himself inside of his chamber.
Yeah. And we see this kind of quick camera that follows you. The ship begins to like ruddle and shake. It says, ship off course, being pulled into nearest planet. Gravitational pull, activate. Right? And so it's kind of like going through what's going down, and red lights are flashing, and you make it to a cryotube just in time to like hit a button and it seals shut. You are across from Captain Desta, who sleeps soundly, whose green line of life is absolutely perfect. And we see from the outside of the ship a white planet, icy and cold, covered in snow and frozen nothing. It begins pulling the vessel in, fire on the outside as you hit atmosphere. The ship goes down and disappears behind white clouds in the atmosphere. And our camera cuts to a naked man in bed with 2 different women than before. In his lair of monitors, we hear a boop, 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 boop. Off course, off course. He sits straight up in bed. He might even still have like a half-burnt cigarette that's burnt out, like hanging from his mouth. And he kind of comes to, and he sees off course on the map. And he kind of pushes these 2 women to the side. They grunt and groan, and he gets up naked as a jaybird, runs over and begins clicking away, trying to figure out what's going on. And he sees you land on this planet, or he sees your trajectory. And he does exactly what you ask him to. He sends a message. Nearest trucker team. Sector 5691. Vessel down. Payment for anybody for rescue. And he says your ship's name, which is, God, I always forget it. Something.
Spearhead.
Spearhead. He goes, Spearhead in need of rescue. A voice responds. This is Trucker Team, Lava Lamp. We, reading you loud and clear. We're, on our way. You say payment. He goes, yeah, 5,000 creds headed your way. And clicks and sends off, and Space Crew Lava Lamp, goes, we're on our way. And it cuts. Once again. He crawls back in bed with these beautiful women, and he closes his eyes, and just when you think the camera's gonna cut to darkness, instead his door bursts open. 4 Weyland-Yutani agents walk in and put bullets into every one of them. Pew, 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 and kill them instantly. One of them goes over to his monitor and clacks away, redacting the rescue mission. He looks over and he goes, let boss know it's been cleaned up. Spearhead, lost to space. And the camera pans out. On an icy planet. A lost ship crash landed. And I guess we'll be back next week to see how our story pans out. Everybody's on one planet now.
That took a sharp turn at the end there, Dot. Sharp turn. Okay. Well, fucking.
He reported a vessel with high.
I mean, I get it. It's just sharp turn. Okay. All right. Okay.
Good shit.
All right. That's it. That's episode 3, 4? Episode 4. That's episode 4 of the bag for Alien Awakening. That being said, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for all the raids, all the sub hype, all that good stuff. Let's do our introductions, get the hell out of here, do our after show for the patrons, and then enjoy our Thursdays. Even more than we already have. We'll start with Meta. Who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you up to?
Hello, I'm Metamancer. You guys can find me on Twitter or on my Linktree /Metamancer. All the things are there. That's it.
Perfect. Bub, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you up to?
I'm Bub, doing Bub things. Just look up twitch.tv/thebubbernaut, and everything is linked there. And that's about that.
Wow. Wow, how coordinated. Zach, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you up to?
I'm Zach Clay, just doing Zach Clay things on the internet. And
Wow.
you can find me at twitch.tv/Zach Clay. I'll be streaming soon, probably in November.
Sweet. Do go follow him and get in on that early content. And last but not least, Dot, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you up
And
to?
what have you done?
That's true. What have you done?
I'm Dot. I cause shenanigans on the internet. I roll dice, I tell stories, and I get to game with awesome people like this. So go follow me as Little Red Dot, where you can find more of these kind of shenanigans all over the place.
Yeah, you can. That's it. With that, we're going to go do our after show. If you guys want to see the after show, you can do so by joining us over on our Patreon. That is the best way to support the channel. And we're trying to hit 60 patrons by the end of the month. We're 5 away, so let's do that. And if you want to be a part of the conversation and join the community, the Discord link is down below. And we will see you all next time. So have a good weekend. Bye-bye.